Hello there. Welcome back to the Random Show episode number 105 with your host, Agostino Zinga. This is Random Show episode number 105. How you going? How you chilling? What's the deal? Get in tune with me right now. What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Are you alright? What's the deal? What's the deal? Big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up everybody that doubted that I would be arriving. I know I'm late as per usual. I do apologize for that. It is unacceptable as Rafael Quinta has suggested, but hopefully you guys understand. As you can tell from my flipping camera right now, for some reason this camera that I'm using is super laggy and it keeps flipping graining up and stuff. But if I switch back to the other webcam, it's really dark. So it's either you see me laggy or you see me a little bit messed up like this. I don't know what you'd prefer. And I'm blowing out this flipping microphone too. Let me actually take off the gain. I am blowing out this microphone. I'm in a red super hard. Let's bring it down to maybe 1 feel as a gain thing. Jesus Christus. Okay, how's that? Hopefully, Jesus, I'm blowing this thing out. Bloody hell, I've got a big mouth, haven't I? Let me lower this fucking gain on this side a little bit because it's going into red super hard. But yeah, hopefully that's okay and you can hear me nice and clear now. Um, it sounds like I'm at a call center. Oh no, really? I went to use a headset. The headset's not working for you guys. If the sound's crap, I'll just switch to my microphone. What are you guys saying? Let me know in the stream chat. If the microphone sounds is too horrible and it sounds way too much like a call center as Crash is suggesting, then please let me know and I will switch over to a normal mic. But yeah, I just wanted to use this because I can use my, so I can keep my hands free and not have to kind of stick my mouth in front of that phone all day long. But if you want to change it, let me know. Sounds like crap, says Brandon. Natasha said it sounds fine. Megan says vegan gains because I want it to sound good as well because people are going to listen to this on the audio podcast side of things. So I don't want it to be flipping sounding crazy on the podcast. So maybe it sounds just okay. LOL, sounds like a jail phone call. All right, cool. We're switching. Big up Coiler for the realness. Sounds like a jail phone call. All right, ouch. Thanks, mate. God Almighty. Oh shit. Okay. It's annoying, man, because everyone else gets to use a flipping headset microphone, right? Like one of those streamer people, right? And then here I am having to use a proper microphone. Everyone else gets to cheat and do all this gamer stuff, but not me, all right? Not me. Not me. Everyone's like, no, don't use that. You sound like you're in prison. You sound like you got thrown in prison for some crimes that I probably won't suggest here. You sound crazy. It sounds like you're in fucking Guantanamo Bay or something. What's going on? I didn't really know. But yeah, so I'm going to switch it back again now to the regular microphone. And I'm going to be sucking on this phone, you know? I'm going to be sucking on this phone for you guys, alright? Sucking on this phone. Thank you. Thank you. Free AC. Oh, bloody hell. I love it. Usually, anyway, when it comes to pods, I'm a stickler for audio too. So I like the audio to be crisp. If the video is a bit shitty, I don't mind, but I want the audio to sound good. So if it sounds too tinny, then I get it. So no harm, no foul. You know, we tried. I tried. We'll put those over there. And then we'll switch back to the regular, scheduled headphone vibes. Cool. Let's do this. Let's get this over here. Oh, plug the headphones over too. Okay. Okay, so we should be back now. Let's change. Actually, let's make sure we take this off. Actually, settings. Bear with me a second. Audio. Okay, let's. Okay, I said audio. I said pod mic. Let's get rid of this. More now. There we go. We're back. We are back. Back like cook crack. Okay, no suppression. Gains where it should be. Cool. We're back now. Okay, so how was that? Better, right? So I'm back now. Back like cook crack. Jesus Christos, that took a long time, didn't it, eh? Eh? Big up the stream chat. Big up everybody hanging in there for me. I appreciate you all as per usual. This wouldn't be a flipping AZ stream without me flipping going crazy with all the flipping, tech issues and whatnot. So it is what it is. Raise a glass to me. A mug of tea here we're gonna get started with. Some dark, this is actually dark nectar, as you can see here from the camera. That's actually dark nectar. Brendan likes to think he has dark nectar, but this is dark nectar. I am dark nectar. This is dark nectar. Oh, that feels fucking good. Okay, big up everybody tuning in right now. Random Show episode number 105. I appreciate all of you. As per usual, this should be a little bit of a makeup for yesterday. Yesterday's stream was absolute diabolical. Many tech issues for me, para me, anything going up and down that I probably wasn't used to, but again, it is what it is. We truck on and we keep it moving, and we are where we are. So big up everybody in the stream to hanging in there. We've got loads of things to jump on. Hair's looking good, mate. Thank you, SH. Appreciate you. I did go get a little trim. I did go get a little fade. See, it's pretty decent actually, considering that the African barbers around here aren't the greatest. So I'm not too mad at it. And if I've got time tomorrow, if I'm not lazy, I'm going to get my hair braided too. So tomorrow I might get my hair braided. So you'll see another look from me soon. So maybe that'll get braided if I can wake up on time tomorrow. But we'll see happening because I've got a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, big up everybody in the stream chat. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Let's just jump right into it, innit? Let's not waste more time. Let's just jump straight into it. First story to talk about that I wanted to kind of get some of you guys' opinion on is this unfortunate event, right? You guys seen this? Regarding Bam Margera, it says allegedly beat up his brother and threatened to kill his family. This is according to TMZ. Pretty crazy story. It kind of feels like with Bam, maybe again I'm talking out of turn a little bit, but it kind of feels like people are sort of like, especially the ones closest to him, are waiting for him to either are waiting for the penny to drop or for it to just end, which must be the worst place to be in when somebody's going through what he's going through and you've done everything that you can to kind of help them and they don't want the help. They keep pushing you away. It's either they're going to realize themselves what they're doing, or it's just going to end in a really tragic circumstance. And it's sort of like we are, I think collectively, even away from his family and friends who know way more about what's going on, I think even just us watching from the sides, we can kind of see that in it. We can kind of see what the deal is. We know what's happening. It's not something that they can kind of hide. It is kind of, out there in the open, and it's kind of difficult for people to kind of handle all in all. But Jesus Christos, man, this latest state of events this latest turn of events is pretty grim. So let's read the article courtesy of TMZ. The original one, it says here, Bam Margera is wanted man in Pennsylvania on a slew of criminal charges. This after the cops say he got into an altercation and made a getaway into the woods. The Pennsylvania State Police tells TMZ state troopers responded to a reported disturbance Sunday morning around 11 a.m., which resulted in an alleged victim accusing Bam of being involved in some sort of physical confrontation. The only problem, by the time cops showed up, Bam had fled the scene of the incident and into a nearby wooded area, and as of now hasn't been found. Now a warrant has been issued for his arrest, and the PA State Police are actively searching for him, asking the public for any help or info regarding his whereabouts. The charges he's facing sound pretty serious, although we're told they're all misdemeanors. Like, even just the degradation of what he looks like has been pretty crazy to see over time, in it. Like,
guy looks like a complete hobo now, man. I really feel bad for the guy. But again, he's not helping himself, so it's hard to have too much sympathy because he's given every opportunity there may be, and it just might be just the luck of the cards he was dealt with. He just might have one of those chemical imbalances that just prevents him from ever getting it right. It continues. While we still don't know what exactly happened here or who the alleged victim is, we know that Bam Margera is facing 4 counts of terroristic threats with the intent to terrorize another, 1 count of simple assault, and a final count of harassment. As you know, Bam's been going through a lot of issues in personal life as of late, most of them which seem to stem from his addiction and substance abuse issues, not to mention his partying lifestyle. And then they've got an update here courtesy of TMZ. As of 9:21 earlier today, TMZ has obtained a police report describing what allegedly happened leading up to Bam Margera free in the woods. According to cops who say they spoke to the alleged victim, who happens to be Bam Margera's family member in this case, the former Jackass star started banging on the brother Jesse's bedroom door around 8 a.m. on Sunday and left an anonymous note behind. Jesse told police the signed letter from Bam read, "If you even fucking think of calling the police on me, I will officially fuck you up." Jesse goes on to say he then went downstairs to find Bam peeing in the kitchen sink, at which point a fight allegedly broke out. That's Brendan Schaub behavior. You see, in normal households, if the person isn't Brendan Schaub, who's a trained mixed martial arts fighter and clearly somebody who could kill somebody with their bare hands and has a bit of a temper on him that's brewing underneath there, don't think Brendan's kind of like, you know, soft nature and him wanting to be a comedian for you. That guy's a killer deep down inside. It's like things that he kind of tries to keep a lid on it. And soon he's probably going to end up popping and bursting. And when he does, somebody's going to get it. Someone's going to get it. So that guy's a trained fighter. So if it's a trained fighter and he's peeing in the TFATK Studios sink, no one's going to say anything to him. Because guess what? He's paying the rent. He's paying everyone's salary. And he can legitimately kill you with his bare hands. So you better mind your P's and Q's. Mind your blood clot P's and Q's. Right? That's the first thing you got to do. But in the normal household, if ever somebody was pissing in the family sink, someone's always going to get pissed off, especially if it's a sink in the kitchen downstairs. Like, that's never going to be something everyone's going to be happy about. So this is a somewhat normal response to somebody peeing in the sink. As much as Brendan likes to say otherwise, this is what happened in real life. Continues. In the doc, Jesse claims Bam wailed on him and struck him multiple times in the head, and cops make a note of this in their report, noting visible injuries they say they observed. You can't be calling the feds on your brother though, can you really? Though, that's a little bit mad. After the brawl, Jesse goes on to allege that Bam said, "I'll kill you. I'll put a bullet in your head." Jesse also told the police that Bam... Yo, Jesse's talking a lot in it. Jesse's on some 6ix9ine vibe, man. Like, shut the fuck up, Jesse. And then he did this, and then. Your brother's going through it, man. Just like take the blows like a man, or swing back and beat the brakes off of him, and then you can continue off. But don't be telling the police everything. And then, officer, he didn't step to my foot. And then it's like, chill, Jesse, chill. After the brawl, Jesse told police that Bam allegedly said he would kill everyone in the house and occupants, which at the time included his dad, Phil, and 2 other women. Jesse told police that Bam fled. So all of these white people living in the same house, the dad, the kids, the wives, what kind of family shit is this? Or are they all staying there to help Bam out? Super weird, man. And cops say they came up shortly after they went to look for him. Okay, cool. Let's guess the issue. What's insulting me here? He beats up snitches in his penny loafers. I fucking hate you guys. I'm never sharing intimate stories about my life ever again. I'm never sharing intimate stories about my life. I'm never sharing stories ever again about my life ever. You guys are not getting nothing. Oh my god, you're never gonna let me live down that fucking penny loaf story. Oh. Thank you, Uche. Thank you for the reality, you know? Snitches get loafers. That's what they get, mate. Snitches get tassel loafer penny loafers. That's what they get. Oh, mate. Oh, I'm actually crying. That was funny. Big up Uche in the chat. Big up, big up. But yeah, in short, to close this, I guess get well soon, Bam Margera. Will he figure it out? Probably not. It's probably going to end tragically. We all know it. And if it does work out, it'll be the biggest turnaround in history. And I guess my Christian part of me kind of wants to see the good in everybody, wants to see a redemption arc. But sometimes people are just beyond any kind of reasonable help. Unless he figures it out, no one can really do anything for him. So I guess time will tell. I guess time will blood clot tell. Moving on from that, we need to talk about this, which is pretty crazy, right? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. No, actually, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's talk about this first before. This is just a breaking news on TMZ. Let's see this. This is regarding Tyrese. Tyrese put some video out that was alleged, that was super funny. Basically calling on some judge to help him out in his divorce case or settlement, whatever it may be, for child support, and pleading on the judge to have compassion. But I guess it didn't work out because look at that. Look at the child support he has to pay now. The headline goes to TMZ. $636,000 for child support. I hope that's not a month. If that's a month, that's obscene. Let's check what the article says. The judge Tyrese publicly called out before. Oh my God, honestly, it's the same judge. Oh no, I thought he was trying to get somebody else on board. Tyrese calls out a judge on social media for not being fair and basically calling him a racist. And then the judge says, all right, cool, I'm a racist, yeah? Watch this. The judge, anyway, let's do the article courtesy of TMZ. The judge Tyrese publicly called out before his child custody hearing is ordering him to fork over $250K to his wife and almost $400K to her attorney. The actor was in Fulton County Tuesday to deal with the ongoing child support case with Samantha Lee Gibson. The main issue being Tyrese refusing to pay $10,000 a month he was ordered to pay last August because he felt the judge was racist and biased against him. So originally he was ordered to pay $10K a month. This is the thing I wonder with these people, man. Like, Tyrese isn't Denzel Washington, right? But the Fast and Furious franchise is about to come to an end. He's got a particular niche of films that he basically does well in. All those BET kind of rom-com black movies type of things, he doesn't get those roles either, right? Because he's kind of old. There's a whole new generation of guys that do that kind of hot black guy in the lead role type of thing. These guys exist, so you don't think Tyrese is going to get those roles anymore. If that's the case, it's not a guarantee that he can make more than 10 grand a month every month until the end of his life. Like, it's not, or until the kid turns 18. That's not guaranteed. Again, he's not an A-list celebrity or an A-list caliber actor. So this is crazy what they have to pay, man. It's really, really mad. Also, he stated, let's continue with the article, but it's just funny that he was ordered to pay 10K in August, and now most likely because of his big mouth and his tendency to go on social media and rant and rave and get emotional, he's now might have to pay more than 250K, which is crazy. Also, he stated on the stand today, Tyrese feels the 10K is excessive. He claims Samantha doesn't need that much because she makes good money on her own. Leading up to today's hearing, Tyrese ripped Judge Kevin Farmer in a video calling people and civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Martin Luther King III to show up in court to support him in his fight against the judge. They weren't there. Of course they weren't there. Why would these people, these supposed activists, be at a flipping family court hearing thing? Like, why does that make what? That's not their business. That's your business. If you can't have your house in order, what does Martin Luther King III or Ben Crump gonna do for you? I love that they have to kind of pretend with these flipping face masks in court as well, like as if COVID is still going on. Like, just give it up, people. It's continued. Inside the court, the judge fired back at Tyrese for his failure to cough up the money he'd been ordered to pay and held him in contempt for court. He'd also been arrested, but the judge cut him a break and will aside from the staggering amounts of money he has to pay. Oh, by the way, about the mask. Are you doing? Maybe you guys are similar. There's some guys in my area who I know, right, who I think are purposely still wearing face masks just so they can avoid people. But, you know, you can't hide who you are behind the mask. If somebody knows you, they're just going to see it's you behind the flipping face mask. But I wonder if anybody else in my chat, do you guys still wear your face masks out and about? Are you wearing it because you're scared of COVID still? Or are you wearing it just to kind of be incognito? I'm really do wondering. Let me know in the stream chat. Is that still a thing? Hell no, says Brandon. Tyson Backford forever. Only robbers and homeless wear masks now. I do not, says Rafael Quinta. Space guy says, okay. Well, the question, Uche, is that do you still wear your face mask out and about? Because I have friends in my area who I think wear them on a daily basis because they want to avoid people. They don't want to be seen. But if you live in the area that I live in, everyone kind of knows who you are. It's impossible not to be incognito. Yep, I wear it to be incognito, says Ryu. Okay, cool. Balaclava, to be specific. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. Anyway, I personally never wore mine, says Dave H. Only at the very beginning to make others feel comfortable. Lucid footwear and clothes. People wear the shiesties for a reason, but don't see the medical. Of course, shiesties are not N95s. Let's say that, right? Shiesties are not N95s. A shiesty mask is not an N95. Neither is a bandana, but that's what I was doing. Throughout the entire pandemic, I was, I felt the face mask was a bit uncomfortable unless I was wearing the surgical one. So I'd always wear a bandana. I had like a little bandana or a snood in my pocket, and I'd put that over my face, which is not anything really. But hey, anyway, it continues. Tyrese was ordered to pay a total sum of $237,944 in back child support for their daughter Soraya and $399K for Samantha's attorney fees. He also has to foot a $7K bill for the special master, a referee of sorts, appointed by a judge to handle minor disputes during this case. So he went to court to fight the $10K. He now has to pay the back flipping child support, and then he still has to pay the $10K anyway. So essentially, all of this screaming and shouting and posturing on social media for nothing. If he just would have paid the money, he would have been cool. God almighty, man. This is absolutely crazy. Legitimately crazy. Child support money. Like, I'm a little bit conflicted when it comes to this stuff because I can see both sides like I usually do, right? I can see both sides. I think in general, if you're the spouse or the partner of somebody, especially a celebrity who goes out and makes their money in the entertainment industry, I think the work that you do at home, even if it's with nannies, the fact that you are the main person who stays at home and looks after the kids, quote unquote, looks after the kids, that's still a big job. That's not something that should be like scoffed at. So I'm not in this. I don't think it's dumb or it's crazy or excessive for some people to ask for a certain amount of money to maintain the kids' lifestyle and to maybe, compensate the partner for all the years that they've been putting up with you. I don't think it's out of the bounds, but I just don't know how you calculate it. That's the thing I'm thinking. Like, how do you calculate it? Do you calculate it based on the amount of time they were together before they were famous? Do you calculate it regarding the amount of time they were together during the most crucial part of their career? Do you calculate it based on how old the kids are? Do you calculate it like what the earning potential is? Like, how do you calculate what there is? Because I generally do think the women are owed something. Like, especially considering what these entertainment Hollywood people are like. They definitely owed something for putting up with these guys and girls on a daily basis. It must be a fucking horror. Outside of all the luxuries that you get, you don't really get a partner that's present. You get somebody that's always kind of away, the center of attention. You kind of have to share them with the world. It can be probably quite annoying to kind of live that life day to day. But I'm also not really okay with the idea of like, oh, just because I made it and now we decided to split up, I somehow now have to kind of fund your lifestyle forever that you've now been accustomed to. That's crazy, especially for grown-ups. Like, you should go out there and get your own. But when it comes to the kids, I don't think it should be an argument, really, innit? You should be able to look after your own kids and put any feelings that you have or ill will about your partner or former partner to one side. That's what it should be about, really, really and truly. It should be about that kind of thing. But again, this stuff is way outside my tax bracket, so I'll leave it to them to handle. Tyrese got himself in a pickle as per usual. He thought he could fight this on social media, and again, the court of law said nope, nope, nope. Continuing on for that one, last thing, courtesy of TMZ, regarding this absolutely sad article that kind of gives us an idea as to how Aaron Carter passed away a few months ago. Most of you would know. It says here, courtesy of TMZ, that Aaron Carter drowned after taking Xanax and huffing. So again, man, Xanax. After I heard Joey Diaz speak about it on the on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he spoke about it previously, and I know a couple of my friends had some issues with Xanax a couple of years ago when it was kind of big in London. A lot of kids were getting really hooked on it really quickly. But Xanax seems to be a real silent killer, innit? Like, people don't talk about it as often as they probably should, or they kind of maybe over prescribe it or something. But it is something that if it is abused, it does have some lethal consequences, man. Absolutely lethal. It says here, Aaron Carter took prescription pills and huffed before he death. Huff in America, I'm not too sure if that, you guys in the stream chat will let me know. Is huff mean helium? Is that what it means? Is it nitrous oxide? Is that what huffing is? That's what we do here. We do balloons. Is that what it's called in America? Huff. I'm assuming so. Huffed, right? Looks like Steve-O is wearing a sober. Paint. Oh, he's huffing paint. Is that what he's doing? Really? Oh, whippets. Okay, cool. Whippets. Huffing is balloons. Okay, cool. Good to know. Huffing is balloons. Okay, I thought he was healing paint. Like Brandon says, like, what? No way. Los Angeles medical examiner says the findings show Aaron drowned in a bathtub in his Lancaster home, but he took alprazolam, a generic Xanax, and inhaled compressed, whatever that is, which is the propellant used in cans of compressed air. The report says he became incapacitated while in the bathtub due to the effects of the drugs and huffing, and ultimately slipped under the water and drowned. So he was in the bathtub having a bath, getting high, and then he got completely gonked out and slipped and, basically went under, and he never woke up. That's a horrible way to go out, isn't it? What a horrible way to go out, alone in the bath, shriveling up, no one here to see you. He probably didn't get found for ages, I'm assuming. TMZ broke the story. Aaron was found dead last November. Aaron's family claimed the coroner had told them there was no water found in his lungs, and they believed that he had died of a drug overdose. According to the autopsy report, there were multiple cans of surf-on compressed air found in a bathroom. Additionally, authorities found several prescription bottles in the home. Several clothing items were found near the bathtub, including a beanie, sweater, and pants, and a nozzle tip of one of the compressed cans was found in front pocket of the sweatshirt. So he was clearly huffing. Damn, man. Aaron's fiancée, Melanie Martin, told she thought the drugs that were killed him. You'll recall he had a serious substance problem in the years leading up to his death. As previously reported, they found the cans. Melanie told us that there was text exchange from Aaron's home and saying he owed somebody £800 for an unknown substance, submitting the exchange to authorities for further investigation. Okay, so the wife probably thinks something untoward happened, but I guess the coroner is saying he slipped and he drowned. So who knows what the real deal is. But RIP Aaron Carter regardless. That's a horrible way to go out. And again, another, PSA for flipping Xanax and stuff. You guys need to chill with the Xanax because the consequence of that shit is really, really crazy. But yeah, RIP Aaron Carter. RIP Aaron Blood Clark Carter. Next on the list, I got this to play quickly. This is a clip taken from CNN. And it features Kim Kardashian sitting down with a journalist over there. I think, Poppy Harlow. And the person asked Kim Kardashian, would you ever leave the spotlight? And I think her answer was pretty interesting. And I just wanted to kind of raise some questions around, what does the end look like for the Kardashians? Or what does the end look like specifically for someone like Kim? Let's hear the exchange that they had during this event.
One of your biggest cheerleaders, a good friend of ours at CNN, told me this about you.
They're talking about Van Jones. Van Jones sent in a message about Kim, and this woman's reading it out.
Nobody like Kim. She is in a category of her own. She takes every case so seriously. She'll have read the file with more care than the attorneys. She will know the case backwards and forwards in every meeting. Do you think this will be your life's most meaningful work ahead?
I hope so. I hope so. I always joke with my mom, who's my manager. I say, Kim K is retiring, and I'm just going to be an attorney.
Kim Esquire.
So, yes. So I was like, so you can go help my siblings. So.
Are you?
So you can still
Is
have
she
a
like,
job.
what about my 10%? Or, no.
Yes. So I'm giving her the heads up.
Would you ever consider a life without the cameras?
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like I have there's a lot that's always on TV and a lot that's always out there, but I think my friends and my family know we really cherish a lot of our private times, and I would be just as happy being an attorney full-time and doing that. The journey just really opened up my eyes to so much.
So I think she's full of shit personally, and I think the end is going to be quite. It's going to end both one of two ways. Either it ends tragically, or it ends really, really slowly and really painfully. But I don't think there's ever going to be a moment in time where Kim Kardashian voluntarily steps away from the limelight. These people are obsessed with the limelight. For better or worse, it's made them multi-billionaires. It's set up their the kids' generation from generations to come up in life. They've had impact over culture, whether it's good or for the bad. And I just don't think having that level of attention on you is somehow easy to kind of push away. A really bad example to look at, but one example that I kind of can pull out is Wings of Redemption. Wings of Redemption, maybe it was a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, was going through some pretty heavy trolling where a lot of people were basically taking his PSN account and hacking it and basically holding it hostage and basically forcing him into a position where he had to maybe get a job and threatening threatening his YouTube channel, saying they were going to strike it down, they were going to take away his monetization. All this sort of malarkey was happening to Wings of Redemption all at the same time, and maybe like a year ago. And he was put into a corner. He was really backed into a corner to a point where he was actually had to contemplate getting a job. And at one point, he just broke down and said, "Look, I'm never getting a job. I'm going to stay on stream. I'm going to be begging for money and for tips and stuff, regardless, with you guys." Because he kept talking about his body not being able to do full-time work, whatever it may be. But the main thing he said was that with streaming, he felt important. In his everyday life, Wings of Redemption felt like a loser. He obviously, he's fucking fat as shit. So clearly his self-confidence isn't the greatest and just the way he carries himself. But the streaming career that he had legitimately made him feel like he had achieved something in his life. And despite all the trolling, despite everything that's happening with him getting attacked and stuff, and the swatting and everything else that happens to him on a daily basis, all the flipping channels that take the piss out of him, he cannot step away from that streaming chair. He cannot step away from that webcam or that microphone or those screens or those games, Call of Duty. He can't do it. So if someone at Wings of Redemption on his level cannot give up the attention and somewhat micro celebrity status that he has being a video game streamer, can you imagine what it must be for someone like a Kim Kardashian? Your entire kind of value of in life, or your entire impression of yourself is only based on basically looking really hot in front of cameras and being able to dress really well and stuff and whatever may be. All of that kind of stuff is really hard to give up, it looks like, for the most part. So I don't think there's ever going to be a point where she decides to give up. I think the society will get bored of her and then she'll maybe disappear, but I don't think she'll decide. It would actually be cooler, actually. It would actually be way cooler if she did decide on her own, on her own volition, like herself. Hey, I'm going to step away. That's way more swaggy than actually having people kind of chase you down and say, hey, we've had enough, shut the fuck up. That's awful. I would hate that. But I don't think they are capable legitimately of stepping away and just kind of living a normal life. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. It doesn't really comprehend who they are as people in the slightest, personally, for me. But I could be wrong. I really, really could be wrong. But yeah, big up Kim for trying at least to kind of make some sort of life outside of flipping standing in front of the camera, which I still think is a talent in itself, man. We're saying now, Izzy, like you said, the Kardashians are American royalty. The obsession will just transfer to their kids and grandsons. Yeah, of course, Uche, you're right. No, for sure. Like, they're gonna be killers. You can already see it already with a few of them. But I just think specifically for someone like a Kim, I don't see it ending like gracefully for her. She's just gonna get to a point where people are gonna get legitimately bored of her and kind of get turned off, and it's gonna be enough and kind of step away from it. That's what I personally do think is going to happen. The kids are going to be what they are. But you know what also could happen? I could see happening actually with their kids. Wouldn't it be amazing if they grow up and as soon as they're old enough, they just decide to live a life of privacy? Like, and just become quote unquote regular civilians, as Bert Kreischer would say. That would be pretty cool. If they grow up under that limelight, they're in a position now where they can't really say no. Yo, big up Green Ghost Media. Appreciate the $2.20 super chat, my friend. No message, but I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. That would be pretty cool, I think. I think that would be the pinnacle of swag. If those kids grow up and say, you know what, we're rejecting this flipping, we're rejecting this celebrity status and whatnot, and we're just gonna live our somewhat normal lives without the glare of the paparazzi or reality TV or anybody else's, prying eyes into us. I would actually love that if that happened, but it's probably unlikely, given how their family are like. Yeah, exactly, like the Jackson kids. Exactly, good example, SH. The Jackson kids are relatively private, with the exception of a couple of them who are clearly on it. Yeah, big up Illusionary Commissioner.
She gave up the ONBL at CK pipe with Daggett her clout.
She gave up the brown black. Big up Illusionary Commission. I can't repeat that, but thank you, Illusionary Commission, for the $2.20 super chat. Appreciate you, but you're right. You are obviously right. Oh. Anyway, moving on quickly from this, regarding KSI, I laughed at him beforehand because of that apology tour he went on, because he decided to, laugh. No, he decided to make a comment and say a racial slur about Pakistani people on some show that he was doing on his channel with the Sidemen, and everybody else laughed. He laughed, but because he was the guy that said the thing, he's getting in all the trouble and whatnot. And he had to go on this crazy apology tour where he legitimately must have visited every mosque between here and flipping Bradford and beyond. And after all of that flipping, after basically, whipping himself in public, in a way, going way above board to kind of offer his, apologies to the Pakistani community and understand them as people and stuff, and understand why that slur, maybe you shouldn't be saying it the way that he said it, whatever it may be. After all of that, look what's happening to him. Look at his headline, Curtis Shadeborough. KSI's TV future with the BBC on hold over racial slur, which is further example as to why you should never really apologize if you're a celebrity. Unless it's something really egregious, like kitty diddling and the R word and anything to do with sexual assault and stuff, you should probably just never apologize and just kind of correct your mistakes by the actions that you do next. Because sometimes when you try and apologize, it actually does way worse for you. Because I think some of these people, they kind of recognize that you're now in a position where you kind of feel bad. You're also in a vulnerable position where they can maybe hold jobs over you and positions and opportunities that you were maybe really feeling for, and then they can basically make you want to dance for anything. Because I felt like he went overboard with the apologies anyway, but he clearly felt bad about what he said and he tried to make amends, and look what happens. It's still not enough. So what's the point of apologizing? If you can apologize for something and it doesn't change anything, then why even apologize? Really and truly, why? It continues. It says here, Curtis Shadeborough, KSI's future KSI's future with the BBC has been put on hold following the racial slur used in the Sidemen YouTube video. The social media star is reportedly set to be signed for a new BBC entertainment show. However, a TV source told The Sun part of the reason the BBC were interested in working with him was because he's edgy and has people's attention of young people, but also why he's been rocked by what's happening recently, because he might just be a bit too edgy. And with so many young eyes on him, they don't want someone to potentially be a bad influence to be given a platform on the Beeb. Meetings are continuing and uncomfortable execs are considering whether he might have gone too far. Imagine people thinking KSI is edgy. About all the content creators out there, right, of him being mainstream, imagine people thinking KSI is edgy. Like, that's the game. That's a dangerous game you play when you try and swim in those commercial waters. This guy's edgy. That's pretty crazy, to be fair. He's quite tame as it goes. He's quite, I would say, children friendly, which is why he's really big. He's able to kind of appeal to a broad group of people. People have watched his journey for the entirety that he's been on flipping social media. If you know him well, you know what his type of humor is like anyway. So the fact that they would be surprised about what he said and whatnot is legitimately crazy. And it would kind of affect it in this way. But it's just more so, in my opinion, I just think the unfortunate part of it is just the fact that he did apologize. He did try and make amends. He did try and make right. And it still wasn't enough for these people. It still wasn't enough. That's the real sad part of it. So, hopefully he'll figure it out and it'll be okay for him. But for the most part, it's looking absolutely mad. But yeah, this is another example where most celebrities should probably avoid apologizing unless it's something incredibly heinous that you've done. For the most part, it does no real good, and whatever opportunity that you're meant to get, it's gone forever anyway, so you might as well just keep it moving. That's what you probably should be doing. Next thing to move on to. Controversial thing I'm going to speak about here regarding this. Maybe you guys will probably not agree, but this is courtesy of Shadeborough. This post courtesy of the entrepreneur Stephen Bartlett, who some of you guys may know here in the UK. He's got a podcast here that's very popular where he interviews different people and whatnot. He's kind of maybe, you know, a mixed race Joe Rogan, I don't know, but he's also a businessman in his own right and also does stuff like Dragon's Den. And he put these 4 things that everyone should know message. And Shadeborough says a message from Steve Bartlett showcasing 4 things everyone should know. And one of the 4 things, no response is a response. Second thing, taking no risk will end up being your biggest risk. Third thing, your life will be determined by your ability to handle uncertainty. Fourth thing, if they don't know you personally, never take it personally. You know, in my opinion, maybe I'm in the minority here, and it kind of sounds weird coming from me. I think I'm kind of ambitious. I've obviously got some big lofty goals for myself and things I want to achieve in my life. Some things I've mentioned on here, other things I'll keep closer to my chest and just keep working at them. But I've always been pretty, you know, ambitious in kind of the stuff that I want to do. But I'm also realistic and sensible enough to understand that not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to kind of go for their quote unquote dreams. Some people just want to work a decent enough job that pays them well enough for them to do the things that they enjoy to do. Whether it's going to the park, whether it's going on holiday, drinking some beers, buying nice clothes, or just sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Some people find great pleasure in that. And I find this kind of constant messaging out there of these guys, these kind of hustle entrepreneurs, these go out there and achieve it things, to be somewhat disingenuous to the plight of the everyday person. Most people out there are trying to figure out if they can afford eggs, if they can afford to put the light on, if they can take their kid to a better school, if they can move to a nicer apartment, if, you know, they can get a flight to go somewhere hot, to get a bit of a suntan, have some vitamin D, or dip in the pool. They don't really care about, you know, no response is a response, taking risk will end up being a biggest risk. What? Sometimes the biggest risk anyone can take is maybe just asking for a promotion, because you don't know what your manager could say. It could change the dynamic in your workplace. It can be really odd. So I find these kind of instructions, these listicles, these whatever, to be just a little bit disingenuous. Just a tad. Like, maybe I'm in the wrong there. Big up Green Ghost Media again for the super chat. I appreciate you, brother. I don't know. I just don't like it. I really don't like it, man. It just makes me get pissed off, because I think like regular people out there are struggling and really need help. And the last thing they need is basically someone telling them to go for their dreams, or to taking no risk will end up being a bigger risk. Bruv, some people are just unemployed. They just need a job. It's not about taking risks. They just need to get a fucking job to pay the bills, because they have bailiffs knocking on their doors, because their phone line got cut off, because they have no internet and shit. Like, you know, they're not thinking about starting a fucking startup or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. What were you saying in the chat? Yeah, it's tiring, but at least this particular instance seems like a decent advice. Yeah, true. Cloud K. Spec says, I hate people that give shallow advice, especially. Exactly, Space Kai. Ucha says, don't forget to picture your family murdered after taking the hustler advice. Exactly. Gary V's a nutcase. Natasha Ski says, one of the 4 agreements, never assume. Begs to differ. Exactly. Honestly, begs to differ fucking always gets me. But yeah, I don't know why begs to differ gets me. Yeah, I don't like this weenie, the ninja. But yeah, big up anyway. Very stream chat. Begs to differ. I fucking love it. I swear to God. Next on the here as well. Moving on, we got this. This I feel like is a kind of big up Illusionary Commission for the $2.
Am I faded, or does the ghost hair look fresh?
Yes, you're not. You probably are faded, but yes, it does look fresh. So thank you. Appreciate the love, my friend. I just got this. I just got it cut literally today, so that's why it's looking a bit HD. Let me give you the bigger, so you can see there. It's looking a little bit HD because I literally got it cut today, as you can see. You can see that. Can you see that? literally got cut today, so that's why it's looking the way it's looking. So yeah, big up Illusionary Commissioner. I appreciate you, brother. This is, in my opinion, really, really, really a flipping PSA to all dudes out there. Please do not do this. Please do not do this. If you arrange a date with a young lady or anybody that you arrange a date with, and you say you're going to go out to eat and you plan to take them out somewhere, take them out to go and eat. Don't change the plans last minute and then invite them to your house. That's creeper behavior. And allegedly, this is what happened. This is the guy allegedly recording a clip of him and his date at his home eating, and she's really upset that he changed the plans on her last minute. And I think she has all the reason to be fair. But this feels a little bit like a skit. I'm hoping it is a skit, because if it isn't a skit, this guy's a bit of a creep, to be completely honest. And if it isn't a skit, this girl should have left already. You shouldn't be wasting your spit on somebody that would kind of run a little game on you, unless you want to stay there. Who knows? Let's play the clip anyway.
You do not keep your word, right? I do keep my word. You do not keep your word. If I didn't keep my word, if I didn't keep my word, how would I? Don't have it. Just say you don't have it. I absolutely have it. Actually, tell me and have me expect maybe. Okay, I don't have it. I'm gonna cook something cute for her. She might like it. No, but you have me come over here expecting we're going somewhere, and we're not actually going. I don't like that. I don't. I can have you do more for me than what you want to eat. No. Well, guess what? Guess what? No, you're with me right now. Okay. I'm with you right now. Yes, we are on the.
Anyway, you get the gist, right? The video keeps stopping and whatnot, but you get the gist. And personally, for me, I think this is really lame. I think if you're a dude and you invite somebody out to go for a meal, take them out for the fucking meal. And if you're lucky, if your game is decent, you probably have a good chance of taking them back home. Personally, I think if somebody agrees to go out with you, you know, unless you're kind of dating flipping gold diggers and girls that just want to freeload, if somebody agrees to go out with you, it's already, you know, you've already got a chance to take them back home. There's a possibility there. If they're comfortable enough to go out with you in private and, you know, have some alone time with you, that probably means they're somewhat interested. So unless you've got terrible game, it's very difficult to fuck up a dinner date, in my opinion, especially if you pick something quite decent. So you don't really need to do this. Just be somewhat, you know, have good, decent banter, take them out for something to eat, make them laugh, hang out, talk and chat. And usually it can really transpire where that may be an option of going back home. You don't need to run these flipping weird, you know, creeper ops where you kind of say, hey, come meet me at the restaurant. Or actually, I need to go up to my house and pick up a jumper. That's some Brian Callen levels type of shit. You know what I mean? Let's not do that. No Brian Callen moves out here. Just be upfront. Be upfront if you want to be upfront. If you just want to smash, just ask to smash. Most likely, it's not going to end well. Most girls don't like that. If you want to smash, just ask flat out, hey, can we smash? If they say no, cool, move on. But let's not run these creeper ops. Creeper ops are a no-go for me. I've never been a fan of that sort of stuff, like giving people the flipping, you know, putting a wool over their eyes. It's never a good sign, in my opinion. But again, what do I know? What do I know? Moving on from that one, let's talk about this quickly. This is regarding Ray Romano. Ray Romano, man. Get well soon, Ray Romano. Courtesy of flipping Deadline. This headline is absolutely crazy. It says Ray Romano underwent surgery after doctors found 90% blockage in a major artery. 90% blockage. How he was still alive is a flipping miracle. It says here, Ray Romano is probably taking a hard pass on fried eggs and bacon and grease these days. The Everybody Loves Raymond star told Mark Maron on his WTF podcast that he had a stent installed after doctors found 90% blockage in his main artery. He says here, I got kind of lucky that we found it, said Romano, who admitted that his doctor told him years ago to take a statin for his cholesterol, but Romano ignored him. I had high cholesterol 20 years ago, and my guy always told me, why don't you get going with a statin? And every time I said, let me do it myself, I would go home and eat a little healthier, get down a couple of ticks. I was 280, now it's 220. He'd go, you'd got to get down even more. I'd go home and think I was hot shit. In retrospect, Romano told Maron he wished that he would have gone on the meds. It's hard for me to sustain that diet stuff, recalled Romano, who added that while his cholesterol is down these days, he's now considered pre-diabetic because of his sugar levels are this high. This guy's pre-diabetic, you know. Fucking crazy. The comedian who directed the co-wrote Somewhere in Queens also lamented how he feels like to be 65. His twins are now 30 and one of them is getting married. He says time feels like it's going so fast as opposed to when we were younger. But man, saying 50 was weird, but saying 60 sounds foreign. It sounds fake in my head for sure. But honestly, man, like I've had this issue where recently I've started to kind of cut down on the amount of eggs I eat. For the longest time, I'd be banging out flipping 6 eggs a day, maybe flipping 4 eggs a day. But now I'm only eating 2. Sometimes I don't eat any. And it took a lot to get me down to 2 because I was eating so much and I was kind of afraid of my flipping cholesterol and shit. So I can't imagine what he was probably scoffing down to get to a point where he's got a 90% flipping blockage in his major artery. It's pretty crazy. And again, the human body is interesting, isn't it? Like he was walking around pretty good, all well, whatever it may be, with 90% blockage until he went to the doctors. But yeah, big up Ray Romano. Pretty cool that he's obviously taking the medical advice now and kind of on the mend. But you know, what can you do, man, with these sort of things? I think you have to kind of learn as you go when it comes to these sort of things. You have to learn as you go. Moving on. Let's move on from this one and talk about this actually. Let's move on to this one. Let's see this. Oh, what's this? Yeah, let's talk about this actually. Let's go to this one. So, do most of you guys watch Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee? I sometimes check it out from time to time, but I was checking for some stuff online and saw some posts on subreddit about them cancelling a Norfolk show, and it got me thinking about the podcast in general, and then I took a look over their flipping YouTube. Hey, big up the Illusionary Commission for 220.
2.20 CAD 2 tell the boys don't fear doctors, get help.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. Illusionary Commission is true. Don't fear the doctors. Doctors' advice reigns supreme. Don't listen to podcasters. Don't listen to anybody in the internet. Listen to your actual doctor and what they actually say in real life, because they see you, they touch you, they examine you, and whatever help they try and give you, take that advice and make sure you kind of action it. So yeah, big up Illusionary Commission for the 220 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. But going back to this, I was checking the Bad Friends, and then I obviously stumbled across this thread of a lot of Bad Friends podcast fans being upset that they cancelled a Norfolk show last minute, but they then decided to double check their YouTube channel and see what they've been doing. And God almighty, mate, they do numbers, innit? Their numbers have been steady since the beginning, it feels like. They haven't really dipped under 100,000, ever. So whatever the Fire and the Kid are going through, these guys aren't going through at all in the slightest. I look at the full videos. The full episode videos are 400,000, 673,000, 709,000, 764,000, 300,000. Like crazy amount of views for the full podcast, and the clips, maybe not as much, 12,000, 10,000 here and there, but they are doing absolute numbers on flipping Bad Friends. Like really, 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 really good. And it makes me wonder overall why they probably don't get as much hype and attention from other fans when it comes to comedy podcasts. They kind of just do their own thing, which is probably the best way to kind of go about it. You don't have any crazy Reddits after you and whatnot. You can just kind of exist in your own bubble. And apart from the Kalila and Bobby Lee drama with Brendan, they've kind of avoided any kind of other comedy drama type of stuff, innit? They kind of just do their own thing. But that aside, I think this post from people who were upset that the Norfolk show got cancelled is again a reflection on what I've said before here on the flipping stream about these stand-up comedians, how they're so sensitive and don't like any form of negative criticism, because I feel for the most part they only see their fans as walking wallets. They don't really see them as people. They don't really care for them at all in the slightest. And all they want you to do is to consume what they do. So watch their specials, buy their merch, buy tickets to their shows, view all their things online so they can get money from that, click the ads and the sponsors. That's all they want you to do. They don't care about you as people at all in the slightest. And it's really upsetting and sad because I feel like a lot of these comedians, a lot of these comedy podcasts, maybe more so than others, they probably benefit a lot from the regular working class person. Like I feel like comedy, I feel like for some reason, maybe I'm kind of assuming here without no evidence, but I feel as if most stand-up comedians, the majority of their fan base are made up of like regular working class people, not creatives, not cool people, not upper class people, whatever it may be. Just regular middle class, working class people make up the majority of these comedians' fan bases. And these guys and girls who love these comedians and follow them around the country, for the most part, you'd imagine they don't have limited funds, but they can't go to every show. So sometimes when they decide to buy a ticket to a show, they decide to get a babysitter, they decide to maybe, order a car service, get a hotel, whatever it may be. These are big things they have to do to kind of make sure they have the time and the capability to come and see a show. So when a comedian cancels a show last minute without any kind of explanation and just kind of leaves these big guys and girls with these tickets that are completely dead, it's really a bummer. Because again, I feel like they kind of owe these guys and girls for their careers. Even though most of them would say, no, it's just my talent. But essentially these regular middle class, working class people are what made these guys and girls multi-millionaires, which is super ironic. But for some reason, these comedians don't seem to care about the feelings of their fans in the slightest, or want to offer any kind of explanation. So this is courtesy of the Bad Friends subreddit, and a person posted, Norfolk VA show cancelled. They said, so incredibly upset right now. I've never really got into comedians or even podcasts for that matter. When I heard that they were touring, I was freaking excited to see them. I live about an hour or so from Norfolk and was more than happy to make the drive. I hadn't bought tickets because I saw the mass amount of seats left and had a sixth sense that they would cancel the show. Super bummed that they are easily my favorite comedians and I love them together. So upset. But at the same time, why the fuck would they choose Norfolk over Richmond, North VA, or even Washington, D.C.? I legit knew this would happen. There was virtually no advertising for this show unless you follow all their social media accounts. Watch out for your shows, people. If there's a ton of unsold tickets, beware that what might come next. Now to find a city close enough to make the drive because I cannot miss this. So this fan got shitted on last minute and they're still looking to buy tickets for another event in another city. The loyalty of comedy podcast fans is really crazy, man. Some of these comedians don't deserve their fans. But this goes to show, this is another example of like, there was, I think Tim Dillon went through it, maybe just as the pandemic kind of ended. I think he was just lazy and didn't want to do shows. But a few of these shows weren't maybe selling as enough tickets as you probably would have liked. And he kept cancelling them. And I think comedians do that anyway in general. I think there's something about these comedians where they start selling tickets and then suddenly a show doesn't sell enough tickets. They don't feel obliged to just do the show as a pro. They kind of expect all their shows to sell out or to be, maybe 80% full. So if it dips under that, they'd rather just cancel it than go and perform to a half empty room, which I feel like it's, again, disrespectful to the audience. But, for some reason, these fans like to get fleeced and to get flipping, bent over or flipping, whatever it may be, and spanked continuously. And another person here made a post also. How Bad Friends could have handled the Norfolk cancellation. They said, I bought tickets for the Norfolk show and was disappointed to learn that it was cancelled. I learned from Reddit where I posted about how excited I was asking for a pre-show meetup. Your big up Illusionary Commission for the 2020.
BL needs a haircut and head shake or get TF out town.
BL needs a haircut and head shake. What's that? Oh, Bobby Lee needs a haircut and head shake. Okay, cool. Bobby Lee. Now, I quite like Bobby Lee's hair. I think it kind of suits him. He's actually got pretty decent hair, considering his age and whatnot. He looks really good, personally. I think I kind of like his hair. I'm probably not a fan of the really tiny t-shirts. That's the only thing I'd kind of tell him to change. He's clearly a size medium or something, and he wears like extra small or something. I hate how tiny his t-shirts are, but I think that's part of his look. he kind of wants to look a bit bummy and whatnot, and a little bit eccentric and stuff, and have his little belly popping out from the bottom. It's all part of the flipping comedic silly goose kind of personality, but whatever. Big up Illusionary Commissioner, appreciate you, brother. It continues here, it says, I heard from another ticket buyer that the show was cancelled and was incredulous, and there was no evidence. Just a few days before that it was cancelled, I tweeted the show and Andrew, no response. Was this written by a chat GPT or something, like, or somebody that can't speak English, I think, right? I had taken off work. I had made arrangements for a 3-hour trip to the venue. I had tickets. I paid for insurance of the tickets that I'll never get back. Ouch. Right now, it's the day of the event, and it's still pretty nebulous what happened. Nothing from the venue, nothing from Bobby or Santino. One email 2 days in advance from Ticketmaster. The latest podcast came out today, advertising NORFOLK, which was clearly cancelled, despite them asking me to come out. I wonder what that's about, though. Why don't these comedians like to explain why they cancel shows? Or if they do, like Brenda, they just lie. Why not just be honest and say, hey, the shows didn't sell enough tickets, and I didn't think it'd be worth my time to kind of have you guys come out for a half empty show. I won't be able to give my all. I apologize. I'll make it right next time. Why lie about these shows? Like, I don't understand the lying. Really strange. Like, we all know why you're canceling the show, because you didn't sell enough tickets. So just, say so, but there's no need to lie about it. I don't think, it's really, really strange, man. It continues. I get that they might be embarrassed about low sales, but it's no reason to abandon fans and disregard them. I agree. Lucy K once had a bit about how much people should go through to come see a show. You should watch it. Exactly. I just think in general, just respect your audience. Like, you shouldn't ever go in there and try and half-ass things. But again, that's what I said before. I think most stand-up comedians see their fans as walking wallets. They don't see you as people at all in the slightest. They don't respect your time. And most of them don't know the plight of the regular person. I think most comedians, in general anyway, don't like working in or participating in regular society. They want to kind of live outside of it. They regard regular civilians as somewhat beneath them. So they don't really have any experience of what it is to kind of live in a regular life day to day and have a job and shit, and, have a family and responsibilities, obligations that may not allow you to just on a whim go to a show here and there. So if they decide to announce a show and plan it ahead of time or advertise ahead of time when you buy tickets, they should try and fulfill them, because the people that went, to make an effort to kind of go there, you don't know what they how much of an effort they made to kind of get to where they are and kind of see you. But these guys don't care. It continues here to say, I wish I had stood up and told us what was going on. We follow you, and that is leadership 101. Be transparent. We made arrangements. We changed our lives for a few days in some cases to come and see you. I certainly did. At least you could do is act like you cared, or even a little, for us. Please do better. Your podcast today was hilarious. I wish I could have seen you in person. It's just, I think, clumsy the way you handled it. The comments are pretty respectful and kind of nice, to be fair. They're a little bit, vomit inducing, how they're still trying to cuck for them, but I kind of appreciate that they're at least trying to be somewhat constructive in their criticism, not be, swearing, effing and blinding and calling them names and shit. But God almighty, most likely they're going to pay them dust. They're not going to care, not going to address it, and they're just going to keep it moving. Really and truly, that's what's going to happen in it. That's a real sad part of the flipping occasion here. But yeah, bad friends are really bad friends or bad podcasters to their actual fans, which is absolutely hilarious when you flipping notice it. But there's this interesting video from the show, actually, that somebody uploaded actually on flipping YouTube, a little YouTube short that features what the Bad Friends show looks like. And it makes sense why they're so agitated and upset, because it does look kind of fun. From what I can see here, everybody's kind of on their feet, it looks like, from this video of this short. But let's play it anyway. This is the caption is "Daddy, Why You Die Bad Friends Tour," and this is, I guess, them singing at the tour itself. let's be real. That kind of does look like fun. That looks like fun. I'm not going to lie. And it's actually made me wonder anyway, in general, why haven't Fire and the Kid done this? Why haven't they gone on tour and done something like this? Because in my opinion, this is something I've always said. I feel like Brendan isn't a, stand-up comedian in any way, shape or form. He's probably never going to be funny in a conventional sense. But I think he could probably be a decent host at one of these type of shows where they do like a live tfatk. They have the segments that they have on their show. They have fan interactions and shit and whatnot. Maybe he comes up and tells a funny story like he did before when he started. Maybe they have little skits and bits type of stuff. Big up BC, big up Luke Thomas and shit. Maybe they have fan call-ins or fans come up on stage. They could actually do a pretty decent, I feel like, live The Fire and the Kid in this sort of style that Bad Friends are doing it. And if you're listening to this, you won't see this, but the Bad Friends tour, it looks like they recreated the studio that they have for Bad Friends with all the artwork and stuff. They have a screen also showing some clips, I'm assuming. They have a band and stuff. Like, it looks like a pretty decent event to go to. So which explains why the Bad Friends, fans are so pissed that they cancelled the Norfolk show. But I think this template or this way of doing a show would work really well for the Fire and the Kid. I honestly do think it would work really well. Who just said, I thought the Fire and the Kid started doing that live shows early. Yeah, exactly. They did, Uche, but they stopped doing it after a while. I think, to be cynical, probably because they knew they can make way more money individually than they could together. You're splitting the cost, splitting the fan base. It's probably a lot of work to put them together and whatnot. And it's much easier for each of Brendan, Schaub and Brian to just rock up at a comedy club, get in front of a microphone, spit their shit and go home, and with a check in their back pocket. Then to put on a whole entire show, you're having to prep all this stuff in the wherever you're going, make sure the equipment gets there, mic check, rehearsals. That's probably why they stopped doing it, but they should probably go back to it. I really do think that would be a way better way to maybe restart the podcast, give it a new life, get the fans on board, or just change the flipping narrative around them as people. That might help somewhat to put on an entertaining show for their fans, but they haven't done one in a long time. But I think they would do way better than anything else. And also just combining their ticket sales, right? Like Brian Callen and Brendan could probably sell out a decent amount of venues together. With obviously the addition of like special guests like Crystalia rolling through and shit. I think that would work out pretty well for them. But big up the Bad Friends crew and the fans out there. If you did miss the Norfolk show, then I feel bad for you. But again, another reminder, these comedians don't care about you, man. They're not your friends. They just see you as walking, flipping wallets. And no matter how much support you give them, they'll just keep on disappointing you at every fucking turn. So go out there and get some actual real friends if you can, because these guys are definitely not your friends. I can tell you that for free. I can tell you that for free. Moving on from that, let's talk about DIAZ. Where is it here? Let's talk about, where is it? Oh, I missed the video. No, there it is. Yeah. Let's talk about this a bit. I want to quickly check this and then we're going to move on because this is fucking hilarious. Message wise. Okay, so yeah, super. Wait here, we're just playing and we'll play this video. Big up Mark E. Miller. Let's get Mark E. Miller's video loaded up here on my side of things, and then we can kind of continue, because I thought the start of this video was absolutely hilarious personally. Let's see if this kind of loads up and it goes where it needs to go to, and then we're going to jump into talking about all the comedy stuff now after I play this video. Bear with me a second as it loads. Cool, let's go back. Big up the Illusionary Commission, appreciate you, brother.
You think the looks like fun? I want refund on SC.
You know what I mean, Illusionary Commission. Big up for the $2.20 super chat. You know what I mean. I don't mean fun for you and I or everyone else in the stream chat. I mean in comparison to what they do. Compared to the tfatk podcast, compared to the clips that we've seen on Brendan's show stand up, compared to, the flipping diabolical nature of Brian Callen's podcast that he does with Sam Tripoli, compared to everything else that they do separately, those shows look way more fun and will be a better option for them to do, personally. And I think if you're into those kind of podcasts anyway, going to those type of shows and seeing them dance around and do songs and shit, it's probably way better than them standing on stage and just talking like they did on a podcast. That'd be boring. So, you know, technically it's fun. Would I go? Obviously not, but technically it's somewhat fun, I would say anyway. But again, what do I know? Moving on. Quickly went to mention this. This popped up on my flipping feed, and I quickly went to mention it. I have no idea who Mark E. Miller is, but I'm subscribed to his channel clearly, and he popped up on my feed, and the flipping title of the video is "Coming Out to My Straight Best Friend." But I just love the fact that he decided to do this coming out video, and the first thing that you get when you press play, right? This is a very kind of important moment in his life, coming out to his friend and kind of sharing a part of his life that he maybe kept secret, his sexuality and whatnot, and wanting his best friend that he loves and whatever it may be and holds dear close to his heart to understand where he's coming from. This is a very important part in this person's life, a YouTuber. And look how they start the video.
Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video.
Nothing screams coming out and acceptance like sponsorship from AG1. These YouTubers are fucking diabolical, innit? No absolute shame ever. Like, no shame. Sponsored ad, AG1, right at the top of the video of him coming out to his best friend. Diabolical. But anyway, we move.
To remind us why we're friends. Questions and answers. With Donnie and Mark.
Oh yeah, man, yours are bigger than mine. And these textures are better.
Me now as his straight best friend. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today we are joined by a beautiful, a gorgeous, tall, dark, and handsome human, also known as my best friend, DJ Donnie D.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm excellent, man.
Or do you feel as good as you look right now?
Thanks, dude. No, definitely not. Feel better.
We have a couple of our friends over. You guys want to come say hi real quick? Get your cute little asses over here. We have Courtney, Donnie's wife. We have Ryan and
God damn, so many white people.
Janelle.
Are you bonita? I feel bonita.
When I think about a Q&A with you, I think about that we've done this 100 times. The last Q&A we did was in 2015.
Almost a decade ago.
That's a lot.
I was a baby.
That's a lot of years, dude.
I know.
I ask one, and then you ask one, and
I love
back
it.
and forth.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Symmetry. How about I ask that one?
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Hey, Mark, have you ever done anything gay with Donnie?
Not in the sense that they're asking.
No.
I think the level of our friendship, most people, like in high school, people thought we were gay.
Yeah.
Because of how we would like interact and how much time we would spend together. But in the gay way that this person is asking, no.
No, but we have flexed shirtless in the gym before.
I would say that's gayer than most gay things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What qualities do you appreciate in me?
Ooh, that's deep. You're always open and allow.
Okay, this is a fucking clickbait. This is a clickbait. There's no part in it where he actually comes out to his gay best friend or to his best friend. He just basically sits down and has a Q&A with the whole guy. So I got absolutely hoodwinked. They absolutely hoodwinked me, mate. So I'm cutting off that video. Big up to Marky Miller anyway. He fucking got me. That's what good YouTubers do. He fucking got me. I thought it was him coming out to his best friend and just them sitting on the couch, wanking each other off. Oh, I love you and you because you're my best friend because of this. Because of this. I love you because... It's like... Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. Apology. That was an absolute bummer of a video to put on there. Let's move on from that one. Oh my god. Anyway, moving on from that. So, talking about people coming out of the closet, we've got this video courtesy of Steven Crowder, who announces, to the shock of everybody, I guess outside of his social group, that he's getting divorced from his wife. And I guess this is a big deal. I guess it's a big deal because he's a Republican and a Christian, and these guys have a weird thing about divorce, and they hold marriage up on a real pedestal, and maybe getting divorced is seen as some sort of shame. But then if you listen to people on Twitter and on the flipping E-streets, they're saying that this was always on the cards because people think that Crowder may be gay, allegedly. That's what people say out there. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not too sure where they get it from. The fact that he looks after himself and looks the way he does and has a particular type of walk doesn't necessarily mean anything. Personally, I don't think so. But, you know, people online, they got a narrative and run with it. It would be funny if it ended up being true, that people kind of saw it from ages ago. But this is Steven Crowder essentially talking about his divorce for the first time because there were some other parts of it that were really kind of egregious. Flipping, what's her name? I forgot her name. The flipping Candace Owens. Hey, big up Illusionary Commission.
Ego has become bad friends and gay propaganda.
Gay propaganda. Yeah, all right, mate. I'm definitely perpetuating gay propaganda. Little old me. Big up Illusionary Commission. Imagine me pushing the gay agenda. Like, what agenda can I push? I can just about get my streams to function. I can just about get my mic working. What propaganda will I push? Come on, mate. Give me a break. Anyway, continuing on. This is Steven Crowder talking about his divorce for the first time, and it's interesting. He says that another influence in Candace Owens kind of pushed him basically to come out and speak about this, which is kind of crazy. It's making Candace Owens look a bit nuts. Hey, big up Crash.
I wish your audio and video would have went out for that last YouTube clip instead of yesterday.
Okay. I guess the fans, the stream chatters, the viewers do not like that last video. Okay, noted. Never play Mark E. Miller again on the stream. All right? Or I may do it as a troll. One day I'll do it as a troll. One day I'll come late. All right? That was a bit of a double entendre there. One day I will appear on the stream late and I'll play that Mark E. Miller video as an intro and see how many viewers I lose. Anyway, let's hear Steven Crowder speak about his divorce on this clip here and get his feelings on it and what he thinks.
Hey, we'll be on with your regular programming and Nick DiPaolo in third chair in a little bit, but needed to take a moment here to address some issues out there that are circulating. It's never fun, but well, I guess let me be clear here. I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear,
2021, he's been going through the divorce. Divorces are fucking a nightmare, isn't it? 2021. And he's still not divorced now. Big up Illusionary Commission.
Sorry, I quote you are pushing anti-gay propaganda.
No problem, Illusionary Commission. It's all good. I push every propaganda. We should all love each other, no matter which way you swing. Everybody gets love in the flipping, random show stream. I welcome everybody from all walks of life. I love you all.
There's no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side.
Weird flex. Very, very strange flex. No infidelity and no physical abuse. Whew, good to know.
And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt, right? That definitely has to hurt. Especially when you think of yourself as like an alpha, kind of, badass guy. You wear like a gun strap on yourself and stuff. You post videos of yourself deadlifting or whatnot and all this malarkey. But then back home, your wife is like, "No, I'm good on you. You're lame. I want no parts of it. Peace out." She's F-R-E-E, fuck nigga free. That must hurt. That must really, really hurt.
And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
Well, you got no choice in that, innit, mate? She said bye-bye.
But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter.
What? So what did he want? Did he want his wife to stay with him by force? Did he want to live under Sharia law or something? That's funny, right? Considering his views on Islam and whatnot. Like, he wanted to basically live in some sort of Christian version of Sharia law, where he was basically allowed to hold his wife against her will. She wants to go. He's like, no. Red, white, and blue.
In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period.
Why is that an issue? Why is he getting upset about that? That's how divorces work, though, no? One person doesn't want to be in a marriage, so they file for divorce. You can have some sort of sit down where you try and hash out your differences, but if you can't, you have to go through with it because one person doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore. Relationship is two people. We're kind of getting an inkling as to why the wife went to leave, innit? We're kind of getting a slight idea.
So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to...
Physical safety of my children? Going through a divorce? Why is he being so dramatic? What's going to happen to his children if people figure out he's got a divorce? Are they going to come around and Liam Neeson style, you know, in a movie and stuff, and come and grab his kids because they know he's not around with his little gun holster on? Come on, Stephen Crowder, relax, brother. It's not that deep.
To resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless. Completely with...
What? Who blamed your kids in the first place? Huh?
Without fault. And so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so.
No, what's that? Josie said, AZ, did you see the breakdown of Dave? Oh, I see Darkwave J calling him Conservative Superman. Love that. Josie Master, did you see the breakdown of Dave Landau leaving Louder with Crowder? No, I don't know who Dave Landau is. Who's Dave Landau? Is Dave Landau, because I know there's a cast of characters. Is Dave Landau the white guy with the glasses? Is that him? Did he leave Crowder? The one that's always kind of chiming in the back. Is that Dave Landau? If it's so, I'll check it out after this, actually. No, I haven't seen that video. I'll check it out, though.
Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Dave Landau is a chubby one. Some other guy. He's the white boy that works too much. He's the white boy back there with the... What did Ariel say about Chin? He's the guy at the back with the internet. What did Ariel say about Chin? Do you guys remember? What did he say about Chin? The guy at the back with the internet, the guy in the back with the screens, the guy in the back with the computers. Is that what he said? Big up Ariel Hawani, man. Fucking G.
Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage.
Yeah, that's the one I'm scared. I think it's papers. The guy in the back with the papers. I think you're right.
Knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well.
Jesus Christ.
Now,
someone tried to extort him because he's going through a divorce. Honestly, these political, what do you call it? Talking heads type of people, these personalities, they are so lame. Such dorks. Like, the fact that Stephen Crowder thought his life was in danger because somebody knew about his divorce is incredibly dorky. The fact that whoever the person is held that thing over his head is incredibly dorky also. These people are such losers, man. Legit losers.
These threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has...
Oh no, a black woman. A black woman letting us down once again. Candace, what are you doing, baby? Why are you fucking blackmailing? Why are you extorting, blackmailing, or trying to fleece fucking Stephen Crowder? Candace Owens on her city girl time, innit? Like, holding it over his head. This woman is fucking so nasty, innit? She's so mean. She's got a real strong mean girl energy. Why would you be doing this to another man? Like, I'm wondering if it's actually, this is the secret. Because Candace Owens is really mean, but I think if she knew more, I'm wondering if this is actually a kind of misdirect from Stephen Crowder. He's saying that Candace Owens was holding the fact that she knew about the divorce thing over his head as a veiled threat. And I'm thinking maybe Candace Owens knows about other stuff that Steven Crowder allegedly gets up to. And he's afraid that she might say that. So to protect himself, he's kind of using his kids and his family as a human shield and kind of doing a bit of a misdirect. Because this sounds weird. Why didn't she give a fuck about his divorce? You know? Kind of. But yeah. Let's hear let's hear Candace Owens. This is taken from January 24th, 2023.
A lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. There's a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him.
She's so condescending, isn't it? She's so condescending. She's such a troll. Pray for him. Madame, you're the one you're the one contributing to like destroying his life and making him sad. Pray for him. You're bullying the guy and then you're asking people to pray for him. This woman is fucking unhinged.
Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Stephen purports to be a Christian.
Shut up. You don't pray. Scripture. Read me a fucking Bible verse from memory. Come on. Say it. Say it.
I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Natashki, not being mean, but does Crowder have a little sugar in his tank? My radar is picking something up. Natashki, I'm going to say this, right? I think that's an easy conclusion to make. And I think people are running to it because Crowder's a bit lame. So they use that as something to kind of, a stick to kind of beat him with. So it's kind of it's a maybe more acceptable way of calling somebody gay by basically insinuating they are gay, which is basically a way of saying that they're kind of lame. So whatever it may be, right? But I think it's too convenient of explanation, personally for me. Although, I do have to say, when I play that video where Crowder announces, actually, let me play it, where they announce, right? Let's see it. The Crowder announces Brian Cannon and those guys moving to his flipping channel. It basically looked like he could be from that community by his walk. His walk alone kind of was giving me that kind of vibe. Let's play the video. Let's see if I can find it. Steven Crowder. Let's see. Brian Callen announcement. Is it? Let's see. That announcement video for me was a little bit suspect. The way he was walking kind of looked a bit mad. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one. This video, right? From a month ago. Just watch this closely and see the way Steven Crowder walks. It's giving something. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, and Tashki say my radar's 999% accurate. Again, I don't buy it because I'm a stalwart flipping contrarian. Oh, actually, where's this guy gone? I remember him on Twitter. He was always getting involved in Spat's cultural war stuff. What's happened to this guy? Is he still around? I don't know his name though. He's on there. I'm a contrarian. So I don't like to believe the kind of easy narrative that's kind of get thrown out there. I kind of want to see it from the other side. I think it's too convenient. But watch how Steven Crowder walks in this video.
It's very offensive. Very offensive.
Let's fast forward a bit. Let's fast forward a bit. Let's fast forward a bit.
You sleep well.
Yeah, this is it.
For folks to fight.
Focus on Crowder walking, right? And let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think.
For them.
What's a mug all alone? I know just what you need.
There's a little bit, he's giving like, he reminds me a lot of like managers that I've had working in retail at like Zara, H&M, Topshop when that used to be around, Selfridges, right? Managers I used to work with. You know, they had a particular kind of bop to them, right? That's what it's giving here, a little bit. Look at it. Look at his walk. He's walking now, a little shuffle. Look at his hips. Concentrate on his hip area. Concentrate on that area right here. Concentrate on that hip area right there. See how that moves. right, left, right, left, right, left. You know, there's a little bit of a, you know, there's a little bit of a shake there. But who knows? Who fucking knows what's true, right? But I think there's something in there. Maybe. Okay. Natasha is saying it's giving alarm bells. Alarm bells. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to his announcer video. Let's see what he's saying here.
Oh, my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife in a difficult.
So you're saying there's other stuff too? There's other stuff going on, not just the flipping divorce stuff. So maybe there's some truth to these rumors, then maybe, who knows? Yeah, so yeah, he is. He's jacked as fuck, man. Shay's car, yeah, he is. He's very, very jacked. He looks like he works out a lot, to be fair. He looks in far better shape than Brendan, which is funny, considering he's not an athlete.
Time that it could be used, knowing.
But don't count.
Putting my children in harm's way. So, to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues. And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word and used discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple. I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life.
That's got to be hard to take, isn't it? It's probably better if you just break up because you're not interested in each other anymore, or because of infidelity or something, or if, you know, worse comes to worse, domestic violence. When somebody decides, hey, I've just had enough of you, that's got to be hard to take. Especially when you're meant to be this badass, conservative, kick-ass type of dude, jacked, with guns, with your own show, smashing it in life, and then to go back home and your home life isn't what it should be, that's got to be a little bit hard to kind of, you know, process.
That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now, of course...
Why is he so hung up on the fact that the law allows for people to get divorced even if the other party doesn't want to get divorced? Like, what's going on, bro? This is giving Abubakar. Like, this is definitely giving Abubakar. Like, what does he want to do here? Like, chill out, brother.
Look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own, in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children. And
I picked wrong, you know. Oh, God.
I will say that what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation, certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns or dragging their father or mother. And I can't be clear on that enough. Or their mother.
So he wants no one on the internet to insult him, and he wants no one on the internet to say anything mean about his kids. Good luck.
Through the mud. And to anyone who tries it, I'm no longer going to pacify, capitulate, or sidestep because I love them a whole lot more than I love you. And I will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect my children. Discussing the divorce any further on social media or on this show or in any public space is not what's best for them.
What? So he doesn't want people to discuss it. Honestly, this guy talks about everybody else online, and now he wants no one to talk about his issues. That's a bit rich. And also, fuck your kids. No one gives a fuck about your fucking kids. Everyone's going to be talking about you. The fact that he keeps mentioning his kids is actually going to put them in more danger than if he just fucking moved on. Why the fuck does he keep mentioning his kids? Like, how old are they anyway? Unless they're 1 year old, Like, chill out, man. It's not that deep. He's so dramatic. He's such a drama queen. Like, what the fuck is this? My kids. Think about my kids. It's like, no, bruv. Your wife's going to leave you. Okay, or she has left you. It's sad. It's quite distressing. I understand this. No problem. But let's move on, brother. Let's move on.
I'll be handling this through the proper legal avenues and channels available as a matter of record in which I have more than full confidence. So I'd ask that you understand the need for and respect our privacy in what is obviously a pretty tough time.
Damn, man, he's going through it. So, okay, cool. Crowder's going through it. Clearly he's upset and not happy in the slightest about what's going on. And I guess he's going to have to figure it out himself. But this flipping mentioning of the kids every single time is a little bit sus for me. I'm not too fond of that. Don't sure what's going on over there, but you know, do what you got to do, I guess, in that regard. Do what you have to do. But it's funny considering, isn't it? Brian Callen just moved over to Louder and Crowder. Now his flipping divorce has been finalized, or it was already done, which I'm not too sure because I saw somebody mentioning that he already got divorced in like 2021 or something, or 2022. So maybe it always was a thing, but they kept it private or secret because he wanted to pretend to be married, and I don't know, really strange. But I wonder if he's gonna get any advice from flipping Callen about how to handle divorce and move on to the next young thing and stuff out there. Who knows? Interested to see what he does going forward and how his political opponents, especially the guys on the left, are going to address this, because they're definitely not going to be kind. They're definitely not going to care about not, saying stuff and, commentating on it, which is really strange thing to kind of put out there in the first place anyway. But hey, what can you do? Let's check out this thing. Who's this guy? Dave Landau. Let's see what Dave Landau said about Crowder. I don't know who Dave Landau is, to be fair. Maybe if I see his face, it'll make sense here. A message from Woody Wallerson. What did he say about him? Oh, this guy, this comedian dude. Okay, cool. I know who he is. There's no do you know what the video's called? What's it called? Him talking about, did he say leaving Steven Crowder? If you guys know anything about what the video's called, I'll definitely play it, but I can't see it here on my searches. Which one is it? Dave was on Kumia. Ah, okay, he was on Kumia talking about it. Oh, I think I'm a bit cool on that one. I'm not too sure I wanna check that out, to be fair. The Anthony Cumia guy is a little bit hard to look at, not gonna lie. So maybe I'll move on from that one. Malice and okay, cool. I'll prep it for the next show and I'll probably check it out. But yeah, we'll prep it for the next one, because looking at Anthony Cumia's face too much gives me the icks. I'm not going to lie, it gives me the fucking icks. Moving on from that one, let's mention this. Let's play this. Where's that clip? Where is it? Yeah, let's play this actually. Let's play this. Have you guys seen this? I haven't seen it yet, but it's regarding Brendan Schaub. It's by the channel called Retroactive. It says The Endless Fall of Brendan Schaub. I need to check this out. I went to watch this with you fresh. I've not actually seen this, so I'm going to pop this on the screen and we're going to watch this together. But this looks absolutely banging already. He does some really good videos, so let's check this out and see what he's saying. This should be a fun one to see. I think he's made some other ones, I think, about Brendan also before, so this should be a pretty decent one to check out. Bear with me as it loads here, but there's some pretty good stuff here that we should definitely be checking out. So big up the channel Retroactive for putting this together. This looks absolutely sick. Let's get it loaded up on the screen here. Bish bash bosh. There it is. The Endless Fall of Brendan Schaub, courtesy of the channel Retroactive. Give them a follow if you haven't already. Let's see what this is saying.
Rogan's new comedy club, the Comedy Mothership, has abducted every comedian known to man except for Joe's old pal Brendan Schaub, with the loss of the LA scene hitting Brendan particularly hard.
Heading to Austin. I'll see Mr. Rogan there. He's going to take me on a little tour of the mothership.
What happened to that tour, though? What happened to that tour? Hey, Callen, you need to explain yourself. What happened to that tour? Did Rogan ever show you around the mothership? Or did he do like what he did to Legion of Skanks guys and just show you it and tell you to get out? Like when he invited into the studio at the time and showed them his toys. What happened?
Ooh. comedy mothership. I'm going to be at the mothership in Austin.
Oh, cool. It takes me a while. I sit in the parking lot for a while because I used to pull up and Rogan would pull up in his Porsche and we'd park next to each other. We'd talk shop about the cars and what's next. And, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg's into jiu-jitsu, man. This is crazy.
And of course, Brendan...
He's such a hater, isn't it? He's the biggest hater. Oh, look at this. Look at this. They already got this video up on board. Oh my God. Big up, what's his name? Nathan Laser Lasher, whatever your guy's name is. Big up you, man.
Might now be resorting to online memes for set inspiration, with the original creator of the video even commenting, "Pretty Bud Light of you to steal my joke, dog."
I've been drinking Bud Light for years, man, and I don't see how it makes you gay.
Me and my brother were getting around town on scooters. We go by one homeless guy, goes, "Nice jeans."
Such a bad joke, isn't it? I wonder, what kind of normie out there goes to a fucking Brendan Schaub show and laughs at that kind of joke? I actually want to be that person. I think living a life like that where you find that kind of joke funny must be pretty sweet. Having that kind of sense of humor must be pretty sweet. Like where you laugh at stuff like that. You're probably the kind of person that laughs at "that's what she said" jokes, right? And it never gets old to you, right? That's what she said. It's like, fucking hell.
I was like, "Sir, you don't have shoes." To be fair, though, I was drinking a Bud Light. Yeah. That's right, throw them off. The Bud Light to do it, man. Within the jeans is the Bud Light. How about Bud Light? God, they messed up. Boy, they just didn't read the room, did they? They don't know their audience.
If there's one thing you can kind of say about flipping Brendan, is that he doesn't read the room ever. In his entire life, he's never read the room.
Mark was like, "Yeah, we're just trying to get rid of that bro culture. It's not what we want to represent." It's like, you do not know who drinks Bud Light. I don't see the problem with Bud Light, dude. I love Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic. Like, "Oh, you're gonna drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here." You see me deep throat that thing?
You're a bully.
You
like stealing.
Perhaps it is.
That video is legendary. That was during the peak of the pandemic. Big up that old lady. With the absolute flipping heavy hitters.
Perhaps parallel thinking. Hitting Brendan even harder was Joe's mockery of Tiger Thick, Brendan's venture into the every celebrity now sells booze timeline, as well as attempting to never be invited to Joe's club ever.
What do you guys think of the name?
You know what? I didn't like it at first. I gotta say, it's growing on me.
I'm gonna hate on it because Rogan hated on my name on the whiskey.
Just come up with a better name. How dare you, Joe?
Great club, hate the name.
I thought when I first heard it, I was like, comedy mothership.
Once you say it enough.
But yeah, it kind of grew on me, man. Like,
once you say enough, it's like saying Joe Rogan's name enough, isn't it? Enough times, it just kind of it just rolls off the tongue. He's probably said Joe Rogan's name more in sequence. He's actually said his wife's name. I'm pretty sure if you go back through the tfatk search engine and you search all the flipping episodes, he's probably said Joe Rogan's name more. Joe Rogan, right? His first name and his surname more times than he said his name of his kids, or mentioned his kids, or the mention of his wife, or his wife's actual name.
It's like when a new expansion team comes to NFL, you're like, Carolina Panthers, that's gay.
Your stupid fucking whiskey is less money. Oh, sorry, dude. I didn't even realize I said that.
It's okay.
I won't do it anymore.
Okay.
So you stupid fucking whiskey. Sorry, dude. It comes out.
No, it's natural. No, it seems natural.
So you're gonna sell it? You make a bank? What's going on?
This is the part of the not being a comedian thing that always gets me. He's not really good at riffing. He can't really, jab back and forth when somebody's kind of teasing him. He just sits there and does like funny faces or kind of veiled threatening faces where legitimately, if you say too much, that whole room might go black, right? He might end up flipping dash choking everybody in that room. So you gotta be minding your P's and Q's. He's got that kind of tendency. As much as he tries to act cool and be chill, there's a rage that's just bubbling up underneath that fucking tight dad hat. He's a ticking time bomb.
Daddy, I got an offer.
All right, so take that and be done with it, dude. I don't have to hear you say thick nectar anymore. Okay?
Schaub also recently thought the late Stephen Hawking was still alive.
Colbert asked, he goes, Ethan Hawke, what happens when we die? It's his question. Bring up Ethan Hawke.
No, for me, right? For me, this clip isn't the fact that Brendan Schaub fought Stephen Hawking, or as I relate to him, Stephen Hawkings, because black people like to add fucking S's onto the end of names, like Joe Buddens and stuff, right? It's not the fact that he thought Stephen Hawking was still alive. It's the fact that he thought Ethan Hawke, the guy they were talking about, was Stephen Hawking. That's the thing that's way more funnier. Forget, not remembering what notable figure in culture and whatever it may be in history and science and stuff is not alive anymore. I can forgive that. It's the fact that he legitimately thought Ethan Hawke was Stephen Hawking. That's legitimately, in this context of this story, what gets me.
Hawk's answer. It's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
I definitely saw it.
I fucking love it.
Do you do in the robot voice?
Brendan was also interviewed by Sean Puri, who revealed himself to be fighting for the other side, so to speak, as a peruser of the Fighter and the Kid subreddit, with Brendan's response surprisingly level-headed compared to what we're used to seeing, as well as admitting his views are down.
You got a big fan base. You got a big anti-fan base. And the anti-fan base, I think, is on Reddit. I go to this sub.
I think you know where it's at. Big up the homeless cats, big up PF Chang's. I think you know exactly where that place is at.
Reddit a bunch, but I'm not it's weird. I like you, but I also find it funny. Like
I'm sorry. I think it's technically impossible. It's not impossible. I think it's very unlikely that you're on Chang's and you also listen to the podcast on like a daily basis or a weekly basis. Sorry, it's a consistent listen. It's impossible. Once you start seeing all the memes and the jokes, it's pretty difficult to look at that pod the same. It's just hard once you spot all the things. Just, again, coming from a fan, a former fan like myself, it's just difficult to kind of listen to it with any kind of level of seriousness or humor in any way, shape or form. You just can't get past it. You notice all the mispronunciations. You notice the weird vibe between them. You notice how they're just phoning it in, clocking out, and everything else. You notice the inaccuracies of the flipping articles read. You notice Brendan's inability to kind of admit when he's wrong. You notice Rinks just not knowing what he's talking about and trying to lean into this weird right-wing grift going on at the moment. You notice Clean or Chin in the background trying his best to hold the thing together. It's just too hard not to notice those things after you've been exposed to flipping Changs, personally.
So clever.
These people are kind of dicks,
so funny,
but they're also funny in the same way. Like, it's kind of this double thing. I'm curious, like, it's probably funny for me because I'm outside of it. I'm not the person that's the butt of the joke in some of these cases, but I'm curious for you, when you hear about the sort of the stuff on the subreddit or you check it out or whatever, do you have any moments where you're like, all right, they're kind of being mean about it or they're being a dick about it, but there's some truth to what they're
Crash 1984. People definitely still hate listen though. I think so, but I don't think it's a lot, because I think if you see especially recently, there's not been as many clips uploaded on subreddit. It's difficult to really. Have you guys tried to watch the Fire and the Kid subreddit or to listen to it in full? Like, I think it comes out twice a week. Have you actually tried to listen to it? It's really difficult to listen to, like, legitimately. Even if you're just trying to get clips to upload to make fun of Brendan or Brian, it's difficult to get through it. So there's not many people, even on the subreddit, who are willing to kind of look at those clips and clip them up. It's difficult to do. The one person that was doing it, BGL, basically threatened to dox him, and he hasn't been seen ever since. I forgot his name again, but big up him. That was the main person that used to always kind of watch the whole show and upload clips. But so far, not many people actually upload clips. It's hard to get through. So I don't think there's many hate listeners as people think there is out there personally.
They're saying?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't, in all honesty, I don't pay attention to it. I think it's a bad thing whether you pay attention to the negativity or the positivity.
You just jacked that line from Brian Callen, by the way. Brian Callen kept saying that. I don't watch the hate or the negativity. Yeah, of course you don't watch the hate or negativity. So you don't watch the hate or the positivity because you got accused of fucking rape. It makes sense. You don't want to read your comments. Your comments must be fucking awful. I wouldn't read mine also if I put up a clip, after being accused of that stuff. Like, of course you don't. But then Brian decided to kind of take it and just kind of make it move. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think you just got to keep doing your thing. You know, my heroes growing up didn't live this world, you know, so it can't be healthy. I think we'll find over years.
I try to get that. My heroes didn't live this world, meaning everybody he looked up to, like Michael Jordan and shit, because they didn't live in this world, he has to also not live in this world. And comparing yourself to those guys is absolutely hilarious also. Incredibly redacted and hilarious.
Digital CTE of reading comments every day.
I already have enough CTE, man. I'm about to ride my Porsche off the PCH. But with the Reddit group, it's interesting because, you know, the watch everything you do, and there's some things that I'm on board with, and then there's a small.
I would love him to say what you're on board with. I don't think he's on board with anything. I would love him to actually break down what he's on board with. What are the criticisms that you see on Chang's or that you see from people that don't like you that actually resonate? I would love to know, because I don't think there are any that he actually agrees with. If someone told him, hey, you're a bully, he wouldn't agree with that. He would tell you, define bullying. If somebody told him, hey, you're a joke thief, he would say, no, it's parallel thinking. If somebody told him, hey, you're a cheater, he'd say no and just kind of deny it. Same way he denied the flipping Annie Liederman Trug Stories comment and basically said, nah, this is all made up. Why would I do that kind of thing? You just deny it. If somebody said, hey, you mispronounce words a lot and you just get all the names fucked up and your speech, you know, whatever impediment that you allegedly had hasn't improved, you've made no effort to improve it whatsoever, he'd obviously denied that. If he said, oh, you don't like being corrected and you can't admit when you're wrong, he would deny that. So all those things that people point out in that subreddit, he wouldn't admit to any of it. Zero. The only thing he may admit to is that, oh, I'm not Bill Burr or something. He does that weird kind of like backhanded compliment type of, it's a weird, not even backhanded compliment. What is it? It's like a weird humble brag type of put down thing he does. Oh, I'm not Bill Burr, of course. Like he kind of compares himself to the greats. But no, it's not that you're not Bill Burr. It's that you're not even like open mic level. That's what people are saying about your comedy. It's not even good enough to even be at the clubs that you're at. And most of the clubs that you're at is because of the flipping, you know, association you had with flipping Joe Rogan and Brian Callen. And obviously the podcast success. But he wouldn't want to admit that. So this whole like, oh yeah, I see where they're coming from on certain things is gobbledygook.
Also like group on there who are just evil. So there's difference between hate, which I get. I give you a lot to hate on. I do a lot of content.
Again, you see this little humble brag you said, I do content. That's what you hate on. Not the fact that I'm maybe a very unlikable person or have done very deplorable things. No, it's that I put out too much content. That's why you don't like me. That's like saying, have you been to a job interview? Or people that go to job interviews and say, when the employer or the potential employer asks them, hey, are there any things that you kind of can improve on, areas that you think you need to work on, and you're like, to kind of look impressive, I just work too hard, you know, I just give too much of myself to the companies that I'm at. Sometimes I just stretch myself too thin. Sometimes I just take on too much work. Sometimes I can just be too creative, right? Sometimes I can just lose track of time and now suddenly I'm in the office and it's 8 p.m. Like I just need to kind of have a bit of a grip on my time, you know, time just goes really fast sometimes for me. It's that weird type of humble grab. Like that's what he's basically saying. I do too much content. That's why you hate me. Not because I might have, you know, tried to hook up with one of my best friends in comedy at the time, in Bobby Lee's flipping girl at the time behind his back, even though I said I loved and respected him. Not the fact that, you know, I told these flipping, you know, co-hosts that he had in Malik and Chappelle that they couldn't talk about Black Lives Matter on his podcast, even though his podcast has always been political, but he didn't let them flipping talk about Black Lives Matter when the whole George Floyd incident went down. Like no one can hate me about that. No one can hate him about the flipping throwing the guy through the glass door. No one can hate him about all the other scandals he's been involved in. No, you can't hate him about that. You have to hate him only because of the content. He just does too much content. He's a white boy that works too much, allegedly, right? What flipping Floyd Mayweather said to him. Okay, cool. Sure, buddy.
I make a lot of jokes. I offend a lot of people. My buddy.
He thinks it's Patrice. He thinks he's Patrice. I offend a lot of people. What?
Joe Rogan. Nobody, I don't know anybody gets more hate than that guy, but he gets more love. You know, I'm in the business of likability. You know, when you're doing it for
The most unlikable person in the world says I'm in the business of likability. You know what, actually, to give him some advice, if he legitimately thinks he's in the business of likability, he probably, more than anybody, should be more aware of why people don't like him. That should be the first thing that you should do. So you try to address it. And obviously you don't need to go on the Reddit and do an AMA and stuff. It's not that. Just see what they say and try and correct it in real time with your actions, right? So less apologies and more flipping actions with words and deeds. You would think so.
For 12 years, it's like this. It's like this. So, we've been as high as 600,000 an episode, as low as 100,000 an episode. So
I love how he says that with a straight face and thinks it's all to do with cancel culture, but not to do with the quality of the show. I personally think it's both, or both, as Brendan would say. It's definitely both. I think cancel culture definitely affected them, and I think it's many things. Maybe even COVID, because these guys were insufferable when the pandemic was happening. They were going on tour still. They were spreading the virus everywhere. People's granddads were flipping dying because these fucks wanted to perform at flipping ha-has in Spokane or wherever the fuck that shit is, right? They were going out their way to do it. They wanted to be nowhere but home, and legitimately people were getting annoyed at them for doing so. And then on top of that, the show went to shit. And then on top of that, everybody in their kind of crew got cancelled for some pretty crazy crimes. Chris accused of diddling, and then of course Brian accused of flipping rape. Some fans who are decent people may have thought, you know what, I'm not listening to you anymore because I don't ascribe, or I'm not a fan of, pedos and alleged rapists and stuff. That's okay to say, innit? If you're a fan of the show, say, hey, you know what, I'm going to tap out because I'm not a fan of these guys. Number one, you're skirting all the pandemic regulations and stuff and pushing the limit and going on tour when the world's on fire. Number two, you surround yourself with pedos and rapists. And number three, the show's gone to shit. That could be legit reasons why you don't watch the show anymore and why it affected numbers. But in his head, it's all cancel culture.
So and it's, there's been some outlying factors, that caused those issues. So, and then with the changing of King of the Sting with Theo leaving, you're talking about a whole new show. So you start basically from scratch again, to start with Chris D'Elia and Eric Griffin. It's a completely different show.
So basically he's saying Chris D'Elia and Eric Griffin can't hold a candle to Theo Vaughn. You know what? That's a very clear indication that cancel culture definitely affected them. Or no, the actions that they allegedly were accused of, affected them negatively. Because there was a time, and you guys will definitely agree to this, where back in the day, Chris D'Elia and Theo used to have the same amount of pull. Like if Chris D'Elia or Theo went on The Fire and the Kid as a guest, they'd get the same amount of views, like 500,000, sometimes into the millions. Like you could see there were instant bumps in viewership. But then with Chris D'Elia's pedo allegations, it feels like now he doesn't really give podcasts the bump that he used to give. So even when he appears on when he appears on Golden Hour, whatever the fuck that show is, it doesn't really get that many views compared to his previous stuff. It's like 100,000, and then his own podcast does about that, sometimes under 100,000. So it goes to show that Theo's gone from like strength to strength. He's really kind of rocketing up there into the air, heading into orbit since he's left flipping Brendan. And Chris D'Elia's pull or his appeal isn't what it once was at all.
The dynamic's completely different.
Howie Mandel somehow didn't ask about the train wreck that was the Logan Paul Schaub appearance.
Is it coming out 2 days ago? Oh, awesome. Where is it coming out?
YouTube.
You're a YouTuber. Are you a vlogger?
No, not at all. No.
Honestly, one of the most insightful things I got from BGL's domestic abuse, flipping world tour, right, that he was doing with his, psycho ex-wife, was that when he basically told people, I think on the subreddit, he may have did it in the MMA, he said, again, take BGL's version of events with a sprinkle of, a lot of Himalayan salt, but he said that Brendan actually thought this interview went well. He thought legitimately this interview went well. That's when I knew Brendan was a different type of guy. He's a different type of guy. His brain is maybe, is just on another planet. That sense of delusion just doesn't, you can't make sense of that. How you can leave this flipping episode of Impulsive where these guys wanted to be nowhere else but in front of you, where Mike was constantly giggling and shit and doing eyes over to Logan, and they were having this really strange, they were kind of having this kind of like subtle friends only conversation between themselves with their eyes and stuff, intimating that the guest was shit. Why did you bring him on? Who's this guy? Like, it was blatant in front of him, but he didn't clock it. He's like, no, that went pretty well, actually. That went pretty well. That was horrible. I actually felt bad for Brendan during his pod. I don't think he deserved to be treated this way. I think it was actually quite bad look on Logan and flipping Mike's part of it, that they didn't do any research on him whatsoever, didn't know he was doing a special on YouTube, didn't really give him a platform to kind of be himself. He was kind of tight, clearly, because the vibes weren't great. Like, they treat him like absolute shit. Personally, they treat him like absolute shit. And he thought this went well. So big up BGL for providing that insight. Big up BGL for providing that insight.
You do YouTube?
You know, try.
You're doing great.
Instead, focusing on Schaub's denim dungeon, plus the added bonus of irony with Ethan Klein judging Schaub's appearance.
You were on Logan Paul's podcast. You had a camel toe.
Oh my goodness.
You had a camel toe.
Oh wow.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
That's clearly, and you know what's funny too? That's obviously been photoshopped, because they did the same thing when those girls from, I think, Call Her Daddy. Do you guys remember that? There's a picture of Brendan with the girls from Call Her Daddy, and somebody put Brendan in those girl jeans. Let's see. I think Brendan Schaub. I think Andrew Santino's in it also. It's an old picture from the Fire and the Kid subreddit. Andrew Santino. Call Her Daddy. I'm sure it was. I'm sure this is what I'm thinking. Someone made a picture of them and somebody put the girl jeans on Brendan. Yeah, I think it was this picture. That picture here. Somebody did the same sort of thing where he's wearing this tight clothes and they put the girl jeans on him because he had this weird kind of effeminate sort of pose, and they put those girl jeans on him. So clearly the flipping picture had been doctored. Clearly it had been doctored, but he's not smart enough to fucking realize that. It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, that's what you have. What do you call that? A moose knuckle?
That's just my
That's in this room.
That's me nuts. That's me nuts.
That's a vagina. Those jeans were denim vagina.
Dude, what is even going on there? What is even going on there?
But you just maybe shouldn't call so much attention to it.
No,
you just say
nuts.
it's no good.
No,
that was on big nuts. I didn't do it. I would do it.
That's a denim vagina.
No, that's my nut split like that. You know what the problem? You know what the problem is? The jeans are too tight.
No, that's not the problem.
Really?
No.
I don't even. He might even be violating YouTube terms of service by bringing attention to his genitals.
According to accomplished MMA fighter Sean McCorkle, nicknamed Big Sexy, mutual friends have revealed to him that Rogan is happy to now be distanced from Schaub, who's still in LA, telling Schaub to hold down the fort while offering to buy more favored friends like Uncle Joey Diaz a house. Sean and Schaub have been beefing since 2010, so it's hard to verify the validity, but Rogan's actions do line up with this version of events.
Hold on, what's it says here? This is Sean McCorkle's post on Reddit. Somebody asked him, thanks for your service to Chang's. You have any info on the current state of Rogan and Brendan's relationship? It seems like Joe still has him on the fight companions, but he doesn't defend him or go out of his way to put him over as he would say in pro wrestling. Sean McCorkle posted, no matter what Joe says, I know for a fact from mutual friends that Joe has joked that one of the biggest bonuses was moving to Texas, was putting some space between him and Schaub. Wow. That makes sense. You know why that makes sense to me? As much as Joe tries to kind of act like he's a badass and that he's this kind of alpha dude, I also get the impression he's quite conflict averse, especially when you become rich. I think there's usually a tendency, I think, when you're rich and you've made a lot of money, you don't really want to explain yourself. And sometimes conflict, you kind of feel like you're explaining yourself. So he kind of has a bit of that kind of aloofness and just general apathy to explain and to whatever himself in general. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's the kind of guy who gets pulled into doing favors for people because he just doesn't like confrontation and he'd rather just give you the favor. So if it means you're his friend and you want to go on his show, he'll just say yes, just so you stop bugging him, just so you stop texting him and stop DMing him. Like, I think that's the deal too. So it wouldn't surprise me if Brendan is the kind of guy to always ask, hey Joe, can I come on? Hey Joe, can I promote this? Hey, can I do this? Can I do this? And Brendan and Joe always says yes because he's there and close to him. But now that he's away and he's somewhere far, similar to what we saw with Joey Diaz, that distance has created a bit of space and allowed him to kind of do his own thing and also given an excuse to ignore people. I think so. Maybe. You know, that's giving him a flipping, because if it was me and I was Joe Rogan and I had flipping 300 million in the bank, like, and you tell me to do something that I don't want to do, I'll tell you to fuck off. I actually think having that kind of money should give you more of a right to tell people to go fuck themselves. But I guess if you've always been kind of rich like Rogan, especially if you have a big podcast, it gets kind of exhausting. Having to say why you don't want to have someone on the show, why it's not a good time. It just gets tiring, which is why it makes sense why Rogan's been so quick to run, you know, away from everybody when it comes to the comedy mothership and to kind of point everybody in the direction of fucking, what's his name? Adam Egan. Like, no, deal with Adam Egan. I don't want none of this. Adam Egan's the one in charge of the booking. Deal with him. I love that. Anyway, Sean McCook said that. He said Schaub is like the chick who you went on a couple dates with and banged once and just doesn't get that you'll never be in a relationship with each other. I also know for a fact that he's told Schaub to stay in LA and hold down the fort. Oh, that's where that phrase comes from. Do you remember? During like the pandemic, or no, during the end of the pandemic actually, when I think Brenda was talking about considering going to Texas, and then I think his wife said she doesn't want to go there. He then said something about, oh, he wants to stay in LA and hold down the fort. So clearly this is something that he kind of parroted from Rogan, because if there's one thing we know about Brendan, he loves to be a parrot. He loves to just kind of repeat the things that more successful people say because it makes him sound more successful. So this is probably where he got that little phrase from. It continues here. It says, meanwhile, there's... What's that? Meanwhile, there's what? Over a dozen Rogan buddies who've moved to Austin with him. Rogan told Joey Diaz he'd buy him a house, and I guarantee Mexican isn't leaving the LA. Which is true. My prediction, honestly, is that they'll get divorced and Bappa will move to Austin despite not being invited, and will blame Mexican for alienating his kids from him. Really? No, I don't think that's happening. I don't think the wife is leaving Brendan anytime soon. She's in too deep. They have kids and stuff, responsibilities. She doesn't seem like she has anything going on personally. Again, I don't know, maybe she does. So, and she has expensive tastes, so why not? If you don't mind it, honestly, if you really don't mind a bit of infidelity, because this is a bit of a hot take here, but I think people sometimes make a big deal out of infidelity, especially cheating in married couples that have kids. I think people make too much of a big deal out of it. I think if the couple are okay with an arrangement where the guy or the woman is allowed to do what they want outside the house, as long as it doesn't come back in the house and you have kids and you kind of get on and it's mutually beneficial, sometimes staying together is probably beneficial for both parties. Because I'm sure, you know, I would assume she doesn't want to be with the kids all the time. He doesn't want to be with the kids all the time either. So the fact that you're together, it kind of helps to kind of look after the kids in that way. And you don't want to be out there in the streets, you know, as appetizing as it may be, being in your 40s and being single out in the streets probably isn't the funnest time in the world, right? Trying to get down with the kids and whatnot and make that work, you know, it just probably isn't that fun. So if you can find somebody that can kind of let you cheat and you can do it outside of the house sometimes when you've got kids, it maybe isn't that bad of an arrangement. Maybe. So I don't think this whole narrative that people have on the Reddit that she's going to leave him, never happening, in my opinion. Especially if you consider where she's from. Being Mexican, being somewhat religious. It's not happening, bro. Never happening.
And then he had the...
Sean McCorkle's a funny guy. He says some ridiculous shit online.
I love when Brendan wants to be a hater, but then he kind of tempers it. This is... Because Joe Rogan has no idea that him and Sean McCorkle absolutely hate each other and they have this kind of like, you know, this feud online. Joe has no idea. It's, oh, Sean McCorkle's fucking hilarious, man. He's a really funny dude. I like that guy. Look at Brendan's reply.
I don't know why. Is he still alive?
But that's okay, because Brendan will inevitably follow Father Rogan straight past the homeless to his new place in Austin, Texas.
I was telling him, I was like, where are we going to go? So I was like, there's Texas. I was like, you go, I'll go, man. Because he's like me. He's like,
if you go, I'll go. You know that.
As even during
of course, right-wing grift Brian Callen is going to head over to Austin and try and LARP as a conservative. That guy has no political spine to speak of, let alone an actual spine. So this fact that he's trying to do the whole right-wing grift thing is hilarious, in my opinion, because he doesn't stand for anything. No principles, no morals, no nothing. The moment he gets invited back into Hollywood, he would leave all his conservative beliefs behind and suddenly be a lefty again. So this whole conservative LARP he's doing is quite embarrassing, to be honest.
Reappearances. Many have noticed just how often Brendan repeats back exactly what Joe says, as was well cut by the YouTuber TFATK.
For real. He's for real. His fights in his early career were way more exciting. He was a savage early on. He's very technical, and the volume. The volume. And the bobbing and weaving that Robbie was doing, like, what was all that about?
He had to be tired.
I mean, I guess so.
Doing all that bobbing and weaving. Like,
oh, yeah. And he's a big fucking strong guy. And when he clipped him with that left hook and knocked him out, he looked slow.
Yeah, he looked real slow.
Santos a fucking savage, man.
Santos a savage for sure.
Controversial opinion. Unpopular opinion. I actually think in recent years, this was the best example of Brendan Schaub. This was the best representation of him. Comedic-wise, personality-wise. Even though he would get on Rogan and just parrot what he said, at least he was going on Rogan, trying to be funny, trying to be insightful. He'd come on there with prepared hot takes. He'd come on there with prepared stories that he wanted to speak about. He'd clearly done some research on topics he wanted to speak about. He would try his best to enunciate and pronounce words properly. He would be on his A game. Like, even look at his appearance. He looks showered, moisturized, hair slicked back, wearing a shirt that looks like it's been washed. Like, he looks well put together even. He actually did come with his A game. So even though it was funny to see him parrot exactly what Rogan said, this was the best version of him on pods. When he went back to tfatk, it would be him slouching, drinking whiskey out from a bottle, you know, phoning it in, clocking out, not giving a simple fuck. But actually, when he was on Rogan, he actually tried to be somewhat entertaining and to be somewhat decent as a podcaster, weirdly enough.
And I 100% support reversing that loss.
100%.
As well as the loss of Theo.
Yeah, exactly. Wearing a wash shirt is the lowest bar I've heard in my life, but it's a bar. It's still something that he has to kind of aim for, and I still think it's there. Itashki, yeah, he looks like he might smell half decent. Honestly, he does look well. Like, consider what you've seen of Brendan now. The bloated face, the whiskey face, the addy face, you know, the baddie fingers. Like, just in general, right? Those fucking awful sweat jean pant things that he has on.
On with the King and the Sting. There's also been outbursts towards Vince McMahon and Dana White for avoiding cancel culture, with Schaub having a point but not really.
Hold on, how did he pronounce Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon. How do you pronounce? Is that how you pronounce Vince McMahon?
Towards Vince McMahon and Dana White for avoiding on with the King and the Sting. There's also been outbursts towards Vince McMahon and Dana White.
Vince McMahon. Is that how you pronounce Vince McMahon, or is it Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon.
Of Theo Von with the King and the Sting. There's also been outbursts towards Vince McMahon and Dana White for avoiding cancel culture, with Schaub having a point but not realizing Chris D'Elia and Brian Callen are not of equal power in the industry.
Any action should be taken. I'm just saying, how weird is it that there's been people accused of way less who lost their careers? There's video of Dana assaulting his wife. There's endless accounts and witnesses, and the guy had to step down from his position as the chairman of WWE. There's tons of evidence.
That was a weird hill to die on, considering flipping Chris D'Elia has like hundreds of victims, isn't it? Alleged victims. Hundreds. And also considering Brian Callen got brought down by like 4 corroborated stories of 4 different women who accused him of some creepo stuff, one of rape and the other one's of harassment and shit. 4 of them. And in each occasion, with each case, in terms of Chris D'Elia and Brian Callen, neither person provided any alternative narrative, as Brendan Schaub will say. No alternative narrative. They definitely begged to differ and kept their mouth shut. They didn't say anything. They didn't push back or zero. So even though he thinks in his head Vince McMahon and what's his name and Dana White did far worse than what his friends did, I would argue that rape is pretty high up there. I would argue allegedly running a flipping sex cult and brandishing women and potentially being a pedo is legitimately up there. And actually, if you're being honest also, they got away with it. They got away with it, which is okay. That's why I don't understand this whole crying stuff. Most people, most everyday normal people, even just lower level content creators, myself included, you get accused of rape or you get accused of, you know, being a pedo, it's over for you. Lights out. Cancel Christmas, as Smack would say on flipping Back on Fig. It's a wrap. Go home now. It's done. But these guys get an opportunity to still tour. They still have successful podcasts. They still sell merch. They still have fans and loving. Like, life isn't too bad. Okay, you got, you know, removed from Hollywood. You can't do anything with Netflix again. Fair enough. Some people won't want to be seen on the podcast with you or take pictures of you. Okay, that must have hurt. But in overall grand scheme of things, you're not having to work at fucking Target or Wendy's or some everyday normal job. You're still somewhat a celebrity in your own little bubble. It's not too bad, in my opinion. So this is a real false equivalency.
Legit evidence. But then I have friends who've been canceled for way less. These men have gotten bigger. They've made more money. In Denver.
Also, comparing flipping Brian Cannon and Chris D'Elia to fucking Vince McMahon and Dana White is an insult to Vince McMahon and Dana White. Just FYI.
Denver owns Hollywood. So Hollywood wants to sit on their high horse and say this guy can't perform here or this guy can't be in this movie. But these two are okay.
Two graphic designers, Sweens07 and Reddit user Lloyd from Canada, claim they weren't paid by Brendan for the promotional material now smeared across his social media. There's also this strange Instagram post recently where Brendan visited Ted Bundy's childhood home. Except of course he took and shared a photo of the wrong house. And for a final blame on Reddit for the bad reviews, Papa Bapa might never find the word accountability.
Of him speaking, and it spit out an hour-long stand-up set by Tom Brady, and the person that I know that listened to it said it was good.
It got better reviews than mine. God damn.
Oh, dude, it didn't even.
God.
It's
that joke wasn't even that good, but also he didn't let it rest. He didn't let people laugh at him. He went to laugh at himself first. So if you're gonna be self-deprecating, you gotta just let it kind of sit, give it some space. But he didn't even want to give it some space or some breathing room. He's got straight in there. God damn it. Because he didn't really want to hear it, actually.
You know,
Reddit didn't go bad on it.
That's just, it's crazy what AI can, I mean, it's just insane.
This is what it feels like to converse with somebody who never shuts up. Enjoy.
Looking at your performance, you know, I've followed your career since day one, man. Even before the UFC, you being a high altitude guy, and I remember you coming.
This legitimately, the flipping Food Truck Diaries is unfortunately one of the best shows that Brendan has in his catalog or in his archive or under his Thick Boy banner, but it's also one of the worst. It brings out all the worst things about him. Eating into the microphone, the never-ending questions, the run-on sentences, the lack of structure, the lack of real good production. Everything about this show fucking sucks. And to this day, I don't understand how he gets this caliber of guests on his show. Maybe because he's a former fighter, he can call in some favors or whatever it may be. Or maybe some people just hate Ariel and they don't want to go on his show, so they want to go on another show, so they go on his. But I legitimately don't understand why he can't see how shit this show is and make some changes. Because this show is only maybe second to the Schaub show in terms of shit levels, personally. When it comes to Food Truck Diaries, this guy is the worst host ever. Ever. Let's start this question again.
To converse with somebody who never shuts up. Enjoy.
Looking at your performance, you know, I've followed your career since day one, man. Even before the UFC, you being a high altitude guy, and I remember you coming in there as this lanky basketball player, and then, I mean, Jesus Christ, you're the best in the world. Life is crazy, man. Life is crazy.
Yeah,
I remember you walking in like it was yesterday, and just be like, holy shit, look at that kid. And then Christian even then was like, yeah, he's athletic, man. I was like, yeah, he's a basketball player. You know, he's a basketball player, white basketball player, dude. You know, he's going to be athletic. And the next thing you know, you're one of the best in the world.
Also, it's kind of sad because it also shows he doesn't really have any friends. Because that happens to me sometimes too, where I'll see somebody I haven't seen in ages and I'll just start chewing their ear off because I haven't spoken to anybody in real life in ages. So I can notice it straight away. That's essentially what he's doing. outside of hanging out with his wife and his kids and everybody he pays to do podcasts with, he probably doesn't talk to many other people. Legit, like day to day. He doesn't have many conversations. So when he does get on these shows with these fighters, and you know they're from the same, they're from the same walk of life in terms of being former UFC fighters to different levels of success, but they're still from the same area. He kind of wants to connect with them and be friends and shit. That makes sense.
But you look at your fight with Cheeto Vera, and you're probably exhausted talking about it after doing Rogan for 3 hours. Side note here, have you ever talked to somebody in your life for 3 hours, dude?
By the way, that's a joke he jacked from fucking Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn said that once and he jacked it. Another joke premise thing he stole.
Dedicates himself for the next decade and proves his comedy a little and has less blunders on camera, that would probably change things, as having tight skits and strong stage presence could win over those with negative connotations towards the Brendan brand. And thank you for watching.
I am going to try to convince Brendan Schaub to do the lie detector test on the show. I'll ask him if he was trying to bang Andy Letterman on the truck walk.
Yeah. That's not going to happen, by the way. What's going to happen is that Brendan's going to go on the fucking Legion of Skanks show. He's going to go on Skankfest. And especially Luis J. Gomez, he's desperate to get into Joe Rogan's good graces. He's going to be sucking off Brendan. They're all going to suck him off. Dave Smith's not going to say anything because he wants to protect his connection with Joe. Big Joe Ogerson also not going to say much and stick the boot in because he wants to protect his relationship with Joe. And Luis J. Gomez is going to be left there trying to basically be Brendan's friend. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be kind of cringe. There probably will be some fun moments in it, but it'll be kind of cringe. And also, this is all while thinking that most likely he will cancel. A lot of people on the subreddit are saying he's going to cancel. I don't think he will. I don't think he'd be that dumb to do so and kind of, give haters an easy thing to dunk him on. I think he will turn up, but it'll be an absolute horror show, in my opinion.
To do the lie detector test on the show. I'll ask him if he was trying to bang Andy Letterman on the truck walk.
Poor person stuff. Yeah, rescues are poor people, Doug.
Well,
you have some. I know. So 20% of just pure haters, then there's 20% of fucking hype boys, lovers. I'm probably over here. And then 80% is in the middle.
$80-20-20. That makes 100%, right? This guy has 2 degrees. 2 degrees, and he's a multi-millionaire. Life definitely isn't fair.
Middle, where they're like, yeah, it's great, man. We fuck with it, but it doesn't.
On a scale of Brandon Schaub to 10, what'd you rate it?
Big up Retroactive. That was absolutely brilliant. Big up Retroactive. Check out their channel, Retroactive. There, it's available now. I'm gonna give this a flipping up vote, mate. Give that a like. Actually, on the subject of likes, make sure you're liking this stream too if you enjoy it, right? You see me liking this in real time. Unlike liking. Make sure you're doing the same thing with me down below. Make sure you're doing the same thing with me down below. So, what else you got to talk about here? Let's move on and let's talk about the Joey Diaz clip. So, as most of you guys will know, Joey Diaz was recently on the... Actually, no, let's play this clip first. Let's play this one first. Let's play this one from TFATK. This is from the TFATK channel, and it features Whitney Cummings talking about she's the most hated comedian. What? She's more hated than Brendan Schaub. Okay, let's see this. This is flipping crazy. I love to rag on Whitney sometimes, but I'm kind of backing her up now. Ever since that whole Schultz thing went down, I'm kind of in her corner now. Whenever everyone else tries to pile on to somebody, I'm going to start riding for them. So I'm going to be riding for Whitney now. Whitney's my dog. Yes, Whitney camp here. We are the Whitney simps. We're the Whitney cucks. Or I am the head honcho of the Whitney cuck coalition. The Whitney cuck coalition. I'm the fucking head honcho of that, mate. Right? Whitney cuck coalition. So that's WCC. That's me. Head honcho of the WCC. So let's see what this clip is saying from the TFATK channel. Let's pop this on here. What do you guys think of the TFATK channel, by the way? What do you guys think of it? A lot of people on the subreddit hate the channel because allegedly they just take all the content from there and some of the flipping hot takes and just use them as, talking points. What do you guys think of the TFATK channel? I don't mind it. They put some good videos out and shit. They clip up some stuff that I probably would miss, and it kind of gives me an idea to kind of check it out. What do you guys think of the flipping channel? Can't follow you on that. Yeah, okay, can't follow me that. Okay, cool. Funny. Whitney Cummings 6. LOL. We love a good underdog. Exactly. That dude is a hater. Says Zach. It's giving scammer. Okay, cool. It's giving scammer. Says Gorilla. I think it's very sad. tfatk is just opportunistic. Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm the only one that doesn't mind it. Then his jokes are stolen content too, like word for word. The live chat is okay, but the dude that runs it doesn't know anything and is easily hateful. Really hateful. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Well, wrong. Agostino's impression of people again, once again, is wrong. Anyway, let's play the clip. Whitney Cummings is hated just as much as Brendan Schaub. Here we go.
Whitney Cummings believes that people hate on her because she's a female comedian. I hate to break the news, but Whitney, people don't hate you because you're a female or a comedian. It's because you're not funny, and you're actually a terrible person. But I heard it both ways, B. Let's go ahead and stomach her explanation on why she believes people online hate her, or people in general hate her, because she thinks it's all because she's a...
I think most comedians, to be fair, I don't think most comedians can accept anyway if some people don't like them because they don't think they're funny. I think most comedians just have this weird innate feeling that everybody must think they're funny, and if you don't think they're funny, then you're an idiot. They don't get jokes. You're a simpleton. You're a civilian, as Bert Kreischer would say. You just don't understand humor. You don't laugh a lot in your life. I don't think many comedians out there are okay with the idea that some people just don't like them or don't find them funny. I don't think so. I think that's where the major issue starts with most of them people. So when you criticize their stand-up or when you criticize their specials, they're like, huh? They don't understand it. They don't get it.
The female comedian. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Bobby Lee, roll the goddamn footage. Do it.
And, you know, there's an obsession with female comedians right now. There's always kind of been one. We always joke we're the most hated species of human on the planet because, you know, it's like, you know,
we always joke. Where are all these women? Are these women in the room right now, Whitney? Point them out. Is another woman sitting next to you right now? What's she saying? What's her name, Whitney? This is a bit unhinged. We all say this, okay?
have the audacity to go on stage and the courage to go on stage and say, I'm a piece of shit. You know, it's like I'm a piece of shit in the center of the universe. And we charge people money to hear us talk for 2 hours with no chance of having sex with us at the end. But, you know,
fans only.
You know, I entered into this with a very clear idea of knowing, like, I'm going to be hated by a lot of people for reasons that have nothing to do with me. Right. And I'm going to be...
What? Don't people hate you because of you? That's a strange cope, isn't it? People hate me because of things that have nothing to do with me. Isn't that an oxymoron of sorts? Like, what? If people hate you, like these guys have put out enough content online for most people to form a reasonable judgment on them as people, or to just say, hey, you're not for me, you're for me. So why does she think it's impossible not to like her for her, and it's for other things? That's a lot of that's like some subtle gaslighting shit, isn't it?
Be loved by a lot of people for.
For doing this part?
No, just being a female comedian in general. It's a lot of like because I am imposter.
So what she's trying to say? She's trying to say female comedians are way more attacked than black people. I wanted to say that. I wanted to fucking really, you know, have some fucking courage and say, you know what? Women are the most oppressed people in the world. Even more so than black and brown people around the world. Honestly, we have the hardest job. Us 1%ers, these female professional comedians who live in LA, who live in these coastal cities, coastal states, we are more oppressed than anybody. Forget George Floyd. It's about Whitney Cummings, bitch. Get your knee off my neck. I want to be on SNL. I want her to say that. Like, come out and say it with your chest. Because that's what you mean. Like, say it. Be brave. But these guys, again, they're all fucking pussies. They don't want to lose their fucking, you know, Rolls Royce trucks. They don't want to lose their mansions. So they skirt around it and say all this nonsense. But say what you really mean. Come on, Whitney. Say what you really mean. Women are more important than anyone. say it.
Syndrome too. If you guys are like, how dare you think you do, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't like, how dare I? I vacillate from, having, just because you have confidence, it doesn't mean you have.
Whitney, like I said earlier, you're just not funny. I mean, holy shit, it's not that hard to understand here, girl. All these hacks are only famous because Joe Rogan pushed them all so hard using his podcast. They hate me because I'm awesome and courageous. Shut the fuck up. And the truth is, Whitney, you're not funny in any facet. You spend every waking moment trying to draw attention to yourself. You're basically on par with Bert Kreischer with your constant and incessant need to be the center of attention. Hell,
I wonder if a lot of their, because I don't mind Whitney. I think she's going to be a little bit insufferable and she's a little bit manic and shit, but I don't mind her. I think she's a necessary voice in stand-up, especially within that LA scene. She's necessary. And the fact that she went out of her way to cut complete communication with Brian Callen and Crystalia, and by proxy Brendan, after what they got accused of, you have to give her some ratings, even though she, was complicit in some of that shit by being okay with the story and laughing along when she retold the story of Brian, pulling out his penis when they were in the car together and shit. Like, I still think that you should give her credit enough to standing up for it in a Hollywood way, right? Because that's the most she could do. Delete their pictures, delete their episodes, right? She was brave. #brave. I wonder if all this kind of like imposter syndrome and this sort of like manic sort of rants that she goes on is a consequence of just feeling like you don't maybe it's kind of an extension of imposter syndrome. She maybe feels like, how am I making so much money and I'm clearly so terrible at this shit? Anybody can do what I'm doing right now. I'm not even that passionate about it. And I'm making, money hand over fist. It's really been easy for me. Life's on easy street. Maybe there's a sense of guilt. And that's what she's doing. She's trying to kind of cope with the idea that she's kind of lived life on easy street for the majority of her life and will continue to do so as long as she's healthy. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe. Because I don't actually get it. Like, she's clearly from a somewhat well-to-do, affluent family. She got famous. She figured out the stand-up comedy stuff. If you're enjoying it, just double down and keep it moving. Why do you care about all this other nonsense? Day to day, really. You have your fans that watch your pod, that follow you around, that buy your tickets, that like your merch, that care about you to separate. I don't know. I just find it interesting why she cares, personally.
if only you could get a plastic surgeon to fix your act. Whitney's really self-obsessed and completely delusional to the fact that most people don't think she's funny or interesting. And it has nothing to do with...
I don't even think that. I just think Whitney can't comprehend that. Most people just don't care. It's never that deep. Most people just don't care. They don't have enough bandwidth to kind of, you know, absorb or be okay with all your trauma dumping and shit. Like, they just don't care enough. They've got their own issues day to day. They come for you for shits and giggles. If you don't provide shits and giggles, they move on.
With her being a female, or having tits, or a face pumped full of fillers and Botox. Girl, you're just annoying.
This guy is giving me a little bit of comedy enforcement vibe when it comes to the dunking on the women. A little bit of that sort of vibe, right? That other guy, he hates Kalila. This guy clearly hates Whitney. No Whitney slander on my clock, all right? I am the head honcho of the Whitney Cuck Coalition, the WCC, all right? TFAK, mind your flipping mouth when you're speaking about Queen Whitney, all right? Mind your fucking mouth.
Unoriginal, and you have nothing to say worth listening to. Good God, Joe Rogan really did some serious damage to comedy by promoting all these fucking weirdos. You know, this video clip of Cummings reminds me of when Brendan Schaub says people hate him because of the way he looks. You know, when he talks about how he looks like the guy who bullied you in high school, or because he's some tall, successful, athletic, good-looking jock, that it triggers everyone else. Same shit, different day. The absolute best representation of how divorced from reality this brand of female comedian can be is when Rich Voss's wife was under the delusion that she would destroy by getting disguised as a man and ate absolute shit on stage. I mean, that was brutal. People actually felt bad for her. The material she did was just as bad, and it was also super creepy. Not only did she look weird, but her attempt at a man's voice was terrible. And of course the crowd knew something was off. Again, same shit, different day.
We always joke we're the most hated species of human on the planet because, it's like, we have the audacity to go on stage and the courage to go on stage and say, I'm a piece of shit. It's like I'm a piece of shit in the center of the universe. And we charge people money to hear us talk for 2 hours.
Hey, leave Whitney alone. No Whitney slander will be accepted. I don't blame her for being a bit cuckoo. She's from La La Land. She lives and breathes it. She's in the LA. She's in probably two of the most toxic industries known to man. Right? Hollywood and LA stand-up comedy scene. It's no surprise her brain is broken. It's no surprise she's all frazzled and ranting and raving about stuff that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's no surprise. Imagine having to make a living working within Hollywood and flipping the LA stand-up scene, and you're from there. Like, imagine. It just must be crazy. Of course, it's by choice. I understand it. Yes, you're right, Crash, but still, that's probably why she's frazzled. But again, I'm flipping, simping, I'm cucking, I'm supporting Whitney. Whitney, I got your back. I got your back. Whitney Cuck Coalition, the WCC. No slander about Whitney shall be accepted on the random show ever. Okay? We don't accept any Whitney slander in the slightest. We never have, we never will. Anyway, moving on to the main part of the show. The main part of the show. We want to speak about Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz decided to get on his podcast and talk about his experience going to the comedy mothership, meeting Joe Rogan, and just generally his overall vibe. And I think most of you have already seen my previous stream where I mentioned it was quite sad how clearly the relationship between, Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz isn't what it once was. They're no longer as close friends as they once were before. You can clearly see it with how Joe was acting with Joey, and also the fact that he kind of rushed him off the podcast because he had to go and have dinner at 4 p.m., which is absolutely crazy. But still, Joey's in good spirits. The book's about to come out soon. Tremendous. I've actually got it pre-ordered. If you haven't got it pre-ordered already, please do. When's it going to come out, actually? I got it pre-ordered already here on my Amazon. Joey Diaz's book, Tremendous, is due to come out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in May. Yeah, 2nd of May. Joey Diaz's autobiography called Tremendous, A Life of the Comedy Savage, is due to come out very, very soon. So check it out if you haven't already. That's the cover, what it looks like. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Tremendous. I've got that on pre-order already. So check it out if you haven't already. But let's see what Joey Diaz had to say. Post Rogan, post Austin, post Mothership. Let's see what his vibe is.
It came out, it was tremendous. The sound is great. The stage was great. But the most important thing about it, listen, they just got there. They're still high off the, they're high. These people that are working there are high. Like, they're fucking not high on weed or high on drugs, but it's a high to working there. They've been telling me who's been going in there the last 2 weeks. It's like fucking endless who goes in there, from Bill Burr to Dean Delray to fucking Roseanne Barr. I mean, it's just the people, Dave Chappelle, some fucking people from Sports World were down there last week just to watch a comedy show, somebody from Memphis or something. He did.
Well, Zaka Azia, I heard what you said last night about Joe being different, but I felt the love throughout the podcast. Yeah, no, the love is still there, clearly. The love is still there. But I think what I said has been proved somewhat right or correct. I think Joe didn't realize until he opened the Comedy Store how important the comedy club was to him. Like, he didn't I don't think he realized it before he actually opened it. I think now that he's opened it, I feel like he's got another passion in his life that probably supersedes the podcast. I think for the longest time, the podcast was his life that consumed everything about him. But clearly, having his own comedy club, being able to perform when he wants, having it be a whole new group of people that he's kind of ushering in and building up and platform and creating a whole community and a scene out there, and the possibilities of people filming their specials there and it growing and building, whatever it may be, those things are probably the only things that are really letting him get up in the morning. And if you think about it, Joe Rogan's got so much money that I'm pretty sure he's probably found it hard to have any motivation with certain things. He's probably going through the motion in his podcast a few times. People complain about the guests a few times. He's a bit stuck in his ways now. But the comedy club is a definite avenue for him to kind of, have a new lease of life. So it's no surprise that he's gone balls deep in it. And obviously, since he's moved to Texas also, his relationships before have kind of fallen by the wayside. So even though the love is still there with Joey, I feel like personally, just watching from the outside in, they're in two different places in their life. Joey Diaz is clearly taking a step back from comedy. Even at the end of this podcast, he even says he's not going to fly anymore. So, which basically is code for don't expect him to be out on the road, touring. That's kind of over. And he's just living the life that he's living now. He's got a decent Patreon going. The book's coming out. He's doing flipping, comedy shows at, in these local clubs where he lives now in New Jersey. So it's a complete opposite of what Joe's on. Joe's right in the thick of it. He's in the middle of it. He's committed to the comedy scene. He's filming, he's got his own club and shit. Like, he's committed to that lifestyle completely. So they're in completely different places. That's what I felt. The love is there, but they're in two different places in life for sure.
Something really good for the comics. He invested in comedy. He didn't invest in himself. He's got $300,000 million. What's he give a fuck about? He made an investment for comics. For all you fucking haters out there, for you people who know somebody who hates him, COVID, whatever the fuck, guys, it's all bullshit. And that's, when he went to El Nido, when I took him to El Nido, he wrote a report about El Nido. He wrote he put a picture up. And I'll never forget this thing he wrote. He goes, I'm paying attention to to all the little things that they do at El Nido. They do little things. You could see it. It's amazing when you go to El Nido sometimes, because what they do with food is fucking tremendous, and it's all to the T. It's all fresh. And so he wrote something about that, and I didn't look at it from that perspective. But that's a perspective he looks at things from. He looks at, when he looked at that comedy club, he's like, I don't want it to just be a comedy club. I want it to be the best fucking, there's an elevator in that motherfucker. I was taking an elevator. I'm not walking up all those fucking stairs. I just did PRP in it. But it's great to see. The last 10 years, guys, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a criminal. When I walk into a theater and the people Al Capone performed here 18 years ago, and look at this piece of art. It's all great. I just came to make these motherfuckers laugh and to pick up a check. I didn't come here to look at fucking art. I really didn't. I mean, I'm a fucking animal. I really don't care what the fuck. Just get me to the stage. Let me loose. Let me go make them laugh. Let's wrap this motherfucker up, get a check, and get the fuck out of there. When I went to Rogan's, I was paying attention to all the small details. He did so many. There's a bar downstairs called Mitzi's. That's beautiful. Just for the fucking comics. Just for the comics to go down there and not feel pressured with other people, blah, 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 blah. He did all those little things, He's very, very fucking serious when it comes to that green room. People don't understand what a green room is.
And this again proves that what I said is also true, that the day-to-day managing of that club, Joe's doing it. I said, he's going to go and hire somebody. Nah, he's definitely doing it. He's working alongside whoever he's got on board, AMICO and some other people, I'm sure, that working behind the scenes. But Joe is definitely hands-on for sure. For sure. Which again explains why he's distancing himself from all the LA guys and girls and stuff who are trying to get on the pod or get comedy slots over there and palming off to AMICO. He's legitimately on point.
Yes. He took it to the point where you can't get in there unless you got a fucking code. There's no just walking in. You're not going to walk in. And he made it clear, agents and this and that, I don't want you up here. I don't want you up here commiserating, taking energy from these fucking people. Stay outside.
As it should be. I don't understand why. I guess because comedy clubs are usually in bars and pubs and shit. But I don't understand why it would be okay for randoms to walk into comedians' green rooms anyway. You're preparing to go on a stage and tell rehearsed jokes, right? You probably need to concentrate. You probably need some alone time to kind of figure out your set, which order things going to go in, remembering bits and stuff. The last thing you need is some random to pop in and start flipping chewing your ear off about the game or asking you about Rogan or wanting a picture. The fact that comedy clubs allowed randoms to just walk in is a bad look on those clubs anyway, to be fair. That should never happen.
Go to the bar. If you're not performing, and that's what a green room is. I love doing the Sony Theater. I love it. I love it. I hope to go back next year. I fucking love the place. The only thing I'm going to change is what was going on in my green room. When I get down, I don't want to see anybody down there from now on. I don't want to see anybody down there. This ain't no fucking party. This ain't Rick James down there giving out Quaaludes. It's just people getting ready for a comedy show. And people want to go down there and mess with them thinking that that's what, I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to see nobody. You're here, you're here. Take a seat, get a cocktail, and relax. I don't need to see you before the show. These people that come down, we want to wish you luck. Get the fuck out of here. I've done this 10 million fucking times. I don't want no luck.
Exactly.
Sit in your seat, and I'll see you afterward. We'll jump up and down.
But it's funny though, it's a completely different community or different sort of vibe within like maybe it's the same everywhere. Within like DJ world, for some reason, people literally want to be in the green room. That's what they want. They want to be in the VIP area. But having been in various green rooms of their various clubs, especially here in London, they're not as good as you think they are. They basically get up to exactly what you think they're getting up to. They're usually in there having drinks and doing drugs without going into toilets, right? They're just doing it out in the open. They're cutting up lines at the table. They're passing around pills and shit. That's all they're doing in there. And if you're there to party in a club, I'd rather be on a dance floor partying and dancing. If you're there to listen to or watch a comedy show, I'd rather be in the audience, catching a vibe, drinking, chilling out, laughing and shit, actually there, than hanging out in a green room and trying to look cool and shit. That's not really what I'm there for. But some people have a hang up on it. And especially in the DJ world, it's kind of seen as a kind of, as a mark that you're down if you're able to kind of get in those spaces and people can see you and stuff. It's a bit strange. I don't really understand the need for it, to be honest.
That's peace of mind, guys. That little green room is, and I realized it this week, when I was doing the Sony Theater, I would get there and I'd be aggravated. I'd be fucking aggravated. Why would I'm going to make people laugh. What do I want to get fucking aggravated for? So that's it. I'm banning fucking, that's it. That's the way you do it. When I was doing the improvs with Lee and all this shit, it was just me and Lee in a room. Maybe the other comedian, just talking. All of a sudden, since I moved to Jersey, everybody wants to go to the green room. No. And I realized how important it was. I'm going to tell you what Rogan did. Not only did he hold the green room sacred, he put a chair by both stages. Because you have so much going on before you go on stage. And they'll tell you the light's on. The light means you need to walk up to the stage. When you walk up the stairs to the fucking stage, you know, the people go, okay, you need anything? You're like, no, I got my water. When you sit there those last 3 minutes before you go up, that's your world. Everything else is background music. That's your last 3 minutes of alone time, of time that you could focus on what you want to say, what you want to do. You get over your nervousness. You smoke that last cigarette. You do whatever the fuck you do as a superstitious, and you go up on stage. But even that, and it's not a $2 million chair. It's a simple chair. Just a fucking table chair. That's it. That's all you need. And he's got a pad there and a piece of paper. There's cigarettes. There's weed. There's everything there in case you need it.
A little table with some lines on it, some pills, whatever you need. Jesus Christ. But like, this is probably why that club is so good. Because essentially Rogan's got unlimited funds to do exactly what he wants. Anything that he would have wished for in a club, he can basically do. So it's probably hard to replicate. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Berghain. Berghain kind of gets away with being the best club in the world because they're in the most accommodating city in the world when it comes to nightclubs. Like Berlin has this grant that they give to local nightclubs to basically give them an excuse. No, they give them a grant that allows them to improve on their flipping sound installation so that they don't get complaints from neighbors. Whereas in my country here in the UK, if a club has a fight, too many fights, they lose their flipping alcohol license, which basically renders the club mute, because if your club can't sell beer or booze, then what's the point of being open? But in a place like Berlin, they basically give them money to improve the flipping facilities and whatnot of the flipping nightclub. So if you're a person out there who has a club, in America, and you want to basically, take some inspiration from what Rogan's doing, it's pretty impossible and hard to do so, because he's only doing what he's doing because he's got more money than God. Like he's got a lot of money, like, to basically do whatever he wants. And he's clearly doing it. And the comedians, look at his eyes. They're flipping over the moon a bit. They get a chair next to a stage. They got waters. They've got a separate bar. The green room has a code on it that not everybody can come in. The security. They take away people's phones. They love it.
He's prepared. That does something to you. You know, I told people for years, I did 1,000 fucking movies. These movies were on last week. A couple of you guys reached out to me, the Dick Van Dyke movies. I did 2 Lifetime movies with Dick Van Dyke. I thought I did 1. I did 2 of them. And I'll never forget this. They didn't pay me scale. Was I angry? Not at all. That's what the job paid. They're a company. This is what they do. But the thing that made me happy about them was when you walked into the fucking dressing room, there was a basket. There was a basket. Whatever, a bottle of wine, a T-shirt, a box of crackers, some fucking, you know, Vermont's favorite cheese, tastes like shit. Yeah, it's the same shit. But just a thought. Just a thought. It makes you feel so much better. It makes you feel, okay, I'm appreciated. I'll work that extra 10 minutes. I'll do this. I'll jump off a cliff for the shot because they appreciated me. You know how many times I walked into a comedy room or something? They don't give a fuck. Listen, neither do I. I'm there to pick up a check. I'm not there to fucking analyze your fucking hospitality. But I make a mental note of it.
Again, there we go. That's another reason why the Bad Friends decided to cancel that show in Norfolk. Pick up a check. If they don't sell tickets, these cunts don't give a fuck about their fans.
You have to. You're making them a lot of money. You're making money with them. And there's some people who don't give a fuck. You go up to Nebraska. You go to the Funny Bone in Nebraska.
Yeah, I agree, Shades Carl. I would love to see Joey on. Actually, that last appearance he did on Your Mum's House might have been one of the best. Might have been one of the best fucking Your Mum's House episodes in recent years. You know that, and maybe Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon was really good guest on Your Mum's House also. Your Mum's House has gone to. That's another podcast that's gone to shit, man. It's been quite sad to see. Actually, is it bad to say this? But with Tom Segura getting in crazy good shape and Christina P unfortunately going the other way and getting a bit bigger, does this mean there's trouble in paradise? Is it one of those things where, like, when one person starts to get in shape and start looking after themselves, wearing designer clothes and stuff, that maybe, you know, there could be a possibility of Tom fulfilling that fantasy and getting a second wife? It's looking kind of crazy, man. Like, I saw a picture of Christina P. I was like, fuck, man. She looks a lot bigger than she's ever looked, personally. Again, maybe it's just Texas. They live over there now. They're eating good. The kids are a bit grown up now, so they can maybe go out more often. Who knows? But with Tom going the other way and getting into fucking men's health fitness flipping shape, and Christina going that way, it's getting a bit crazy. It's getting a bit spooky for them too.
In whatever her name's, I can't think of her name now. She treats you like a king. I can tell you, there's 8 comedy club owners that treat you like a king. Then there's 35 of them that you don't even see for the weekend. You know, you can't even come down a Thursday night and shake my hand. There's all those little things. Rogan lives at that club. He lives at that club. He lives at that club. He's there to welcome people. You know, the fucking hotel he puts the comics in are tremendous. You don't have to hear people yell.
Uche is saying, no, Tom. Uche is saying, no, Tom is just embarrassed. He's fat as publicly and needed to prove a point. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Fat shaming works, trust me. I've got some comments on my fucking picture uploaded in my fucking community post. Fat shaming only works for guys, I feel like. I don't think women respond the same way to fat shaming. I'm calling it something else. And Space Guy said, it's called menopause. Yeah, true, good point. Maybe in that too. But yeah, fat shaming definitely works. So get in those comments. Call me a fat shit. I dare you. And I'm going to get into the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. Just you watch, you fucking haters. All right? You homeless cats. You whatever nincompoops.
Yelling in the middle of the night because everybody's trying to save $10. But by saving those $10, you turn that guy off. He's not going to come back. You know, that's the most important thing, is feeling appreciated. That's all I've ever wanted to feel. That's it. I don't want you to kiss my ass. I don't want you to feed me grapes. I don't want you to lick my balls. I don't want you to do nothing. I just want to feel like you were happy that I was there. I mean, for me, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go there and take your money anyway.
I like how comedians speak out of both sides of the mouth. I want to feel appreciated. I don't want you to suck my balls or lick my toenails, but I want to feel appreciated. I don't give a fuck. Actually, I'm just gonna take your money. Make your mind up, mate. Make your fucking mind up.
But it just gives you, you know what? Next time I come here, I'm going to fucking write more. I'm going to be a lot better for these people because the club is great. And that's what makes a big difference in comedy, man. It's not the money they pay you. If I did this for money, guys, you're crazy. I did this to be funny all those years. And through the years, you meet different people, you talk with different people, and you see what works and what doesn't work for you. I got to tell you something. Fucking Rogan did it with this one. He really fucking did. And Austin, as far as Austin as a city, I didn't recognize it. I remembered a few spots. It's growing. They really, listen, man, growth is a beautiful thing to see. Some people don't want to see growth. Some people knows what comes with growth, you know. Around the corner from where I was staying.
Do you guys buy into this? I'm having a hard time believing. I don't know. There's something I don't buy. Again, I'm not from America. I've never been to fucking Texas. I've never been to Austin, so I don't know. But I'm having a hard time believing all of these middle-aged men have somehow revived Austin because Joe Rogan opened a fucking comedy club. And some dirty comedians go there and do Kill Tony and open mics and stuff and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure comedy clubs can be a driver. But is it that much of a driver of business and people migrating over to fucking Austin and shit? Is that really going to be happening? Or are they kind of gassing it? Because if you're a young comedian and you're wanting to make moves and shit, should you be going to Austin really? The fact that it's been it's been kind of inundated with all these fucking middle-aged older dudes from LA moving over there. Maybe you should avoid Austin. Because you're not going to get any play because all the bigwigs are down there. You should probably go somewhere else. I don't know if I buy this narrative. It seems a little bit too convenient. What we're saying here, they haven't already did. I doubt it, says Jesse J. But News says Trump made it so Ford write off some more 10,000 state income tax and federal taxes. That's why they all live in Austin. Okay, cool. For no state income tax. Okay, that makes sense. Austin was its own special place way before they came, says Coiler. I've been to Austin. I didn't think Austin was all that. It's a college town, home of South by Southwest. Yep, that makes sense. I know of that place. Austin is equals InfoWars. AZ Austin was already a burgeoning, up-and-coming city for years, attracting many young people. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, Yoshi. Because yeah, that makes more sense to me. Because the way they're trying to sell it is that Rogan and the comedy clubs is the reason why Austin is popping up again. I just don't think that's true. And I'm also not too sure how many young people are legitimately going to be following guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s over to a place because they're making it cool. That's not how it works usually. Hipsters and young kids and Gen Z kids and millennials and stuff aren't, I don't know. I don't think they're that impressed by what people in their 50s and 60s are doing. Maybe I'm mistaken. Who knows?
They're building the biggest building in Texas. It's going to be a high rise. Like, you're not going to, you can't see the state capitol from everywhere now. They've built so much in the last 2 years. I mean, they've done, and it's going to be the capital for comedy. I am convinced after what I saw this week.
Yeah, Crash says Nashville is very similar to Austin, just a little better music. But Nashville is where they have country music, right? Nashville's the home of country music. And Austin's just, you say general music, I would assume. Or am I mistaken there?
It's the capital for comedy. If you're a young comic and you want to learn the business from A to Z, I'm not talking to move down there to hang out with Joe Rogan. I'm talking about they got the Creek in the Cave. They've got Helium coming. They've got Cap City. Who else? The Vulcan, the Sunset Strip Comedy Room, and 1,000 other places that do comedy. If you're serious, really serious about comedy, you're just like, I get it. But if you're serious about your trade and about your art and you really want to improve and really want to see it from the inside out, that's the fucking town to do it.
Maybe he's got a point, but I still think maybe if you're like 5 years in, you should probably go to Austin. If you need that little bit of a push, and it's good to see people, I think in general, when you're in the arts or you're in entertainment or these kind of fields where there's no real direct path to success or greatness, you kind of have to kind of make your own way. It's important to be around people who are better than you on either scale, right? Who are like, you know, maybe some people are on your same level, who are a bit worse than you, who are a bit better than you, or really, really high up, to kind of get an idea of where you stand and to kind of be inspired and whatnot. That's important. But I still think if you're a new comic, if you're like 2-3 years in, you should spend no time in Austin, because you're not going to get any time on stage, right? At any kind of meaningful club, really, you'd imagine, because all the big hitters are down there. You should probably be going to all the places they've left. If anything, you should probably be moving to New York, moving to LA. Like all these places that these guys left, you should probably go and move to, because there's probably more chance of you getting up on the comedy store now, because all of these guys are in Austin. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? But maybe if you're 5 years plus in, it makes more sense to go there. But I don't think everyone should go there, really and truly. It seems a bit like odd advice, but you know, he's a professional comic. He's the one that's been in the scene for the longest. He's passed and stuff at all these good places. So maybe quite possibly he does know best.
You know, everybody always, listen, when you went to LA to find riches and all that shit, most of these people that go to LA to find riches, they'll tell you there's not really a market for transitioning. Somebody said something to me interesting years ago. When I got The Longest Yard, my agent called them to put me on a radio show. And the guy said, we're not in business of making stars. We just put stars on here. I was mad for about 10 minutes. I understood that. I understood where he was coming from, and I got it. That guy calls me today to do work for him. I will not do work for him. His partner calls me all the time because he got thrown off the radio, and he's an idiot anyway. But he was cool like that. You know, I'm not in the business of making stars. Well, that's the problem with LA. Everybody goes to LA to be a star, and everybody forgets what they went there for, which is fucking comedy. You know, if I took away the podcast, and if I took away movies and film and television, I took away anything, and I just focused on stand-up, it would be scary. Because I was scary with everything going on. Could you imagine if you withdraw everything and just focus on stand-up, like a Dave Chappelle? People want to know why Dave Chappelle is so good. You don't have to do 10 podcasts a week. You don't see Ali Wong doing a podcast. You know, we just jumped on it. We thought it was the hip thing to do. It don't work for people. But look at the people that just focus on stand-up.
That's a good point, though. That's probably a good point. That may explain why, inadvertently, why all these stand-up specials are so fucking terrible. And I think we've said it, you know, amongst ourselves in the stream, and it's not an original thought, don't get me wrong, but surely after a certain time, doing 5 or more podcasts per week, every other week, it's going to take its toll on the stage. All that funny energy that you're dispensing, right? All those funny spiritual ties you're making with your audience week in, week out for free. When you then go and do performances on stage, it's no surprising, you know, or it's no surprise that once you turn on the cameras to film your special, it's completely fucking shit. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I'm not surprised, you know, no way, shape or form. That may explain why these specials are all so terrible, and maybe explains why those other guys are better, right? Like the Sebastian Maniscalcos, the Fluffies, all these guys and girls who don't do many podcasts are quite better, right? Maybe the only person I can think of who's different is maybe Bill Burr, Anthony Jeselnik, right? He does his podcast. It's not the most popular one because he kind of does it on his own, you know, he's in his own little bubble, but his stand-up is pretty decent. And he does a somewhat consistent podcast. So maybe that's the trick. But then these guys, they're all weirdly money motivated, but they don't want to admit it. It's one thing they all kind of lie about. I'm not in it for the money, in it for the money. If you're not in it for the money, quit then. But they don't. They like to double dip. So if you can sell merch, sell it. If you can do a podcast and make loads of money easily by reading our ads, why not do it? So that's why they're doing it. And inadvertently, it's actually affecting the one thing that they purport to love the most, which is stand-up.
When you start stand-up, you want to be around people who just focus on stand-up, not fake people in your open mic scene. That's why you go to a better open mic scene. You start at your open mic scene, they give you a little shit, you get kicked in the head a few times, you get drunk in public, nobody wants to fucking talk to you no more. You got to move to another fucking open mic city. And that's where you get strengthened. I started in Denver, but I strengthened up in Seattle. That's why I became a fucking feature act. And then I moved to Los Angeles, which made my trek a lot easier. Now listen, Chris D'Elia walked into the Comedy Store the first time and got on.
Uh-oh, you can't say his name on podcast. If you say his name too often, a flipping ice cream van will come down the street. You know what ice cream vans mean? Diddlers.
Stage. God bless him. You know, I'm not mad at Chris for that. I know a lot of people who started in Los Angeles, and they're very successful today. But when you look at how many to the compare success, you'll go, yeah, I get it. It's a small percentage. Why? It's such a, and you know, you as a human being, as a comedian, as a business person, you play percentages. Where can I be the strongest that I can be? If I move to LA, I'm going to be at 10%. But if I move to a city like Seattle to develop, I'm going to be at 50%.
Maybe he's right there. Maybe if you're a young comedian and you move to LA, because LA is so toxic, the just being around Hollywood types and desperate people trying to make it and achieve their dreams, whether they're content creators, streamers, actors and stuff, that sense of desperation it's just a lingering cloud or across the city. I kind of felt it when I went in 2017 or wherever it was I went. People just are desperate. They really want to impress. They don't know who you are. You could be an important person that could change their life, so everyone's always performing. Maybe that sense of desperation can kind of kill your creative spark. So maybe it's better to go somewhere shitter that isn't maybe as glitzy as in LA, develop there, and then try and quote unquote make it in LA later down the line. That could be the move. That also might explain why flipping, what's his name? That also might explain why Brendan isn't that funny, because he developed entirely in LA, in that bubble, and also he had a kind of, you know, he had a really he had a kind of, I won't say inflated, but he had a very like unrealistic way of starting, because he started with the podcast success, the co-sign from fucking Joe Rogan and Brian Callen. All those things kind of impacted it, but definitely developing there kind of, I think, impacted more than anything, probably.
There's more of a chance for me to grow there. There's more of a chance to meet more people, to start from the ground floor with a booker. In LA, people run out there to be famous and to be rich and to be superstars, and they run into that. No, guys, you go somewhere else and develop. You read all these. I was reading somebody's story the other day. They were doing a traveling fucking theater till 6 years ago. You know, whatever. What's that thing called when you go from town to town and do like, I don't know, some fucking, no, like a production of, I don't know, Chicago that travels across the country. Like you do two shows. It's like comedy tour. It's like a comedy tour. You know, can you imagine doing that for acting? The acting strength that you're going to come out. They've always said that when you do theater, if you really want to do acting, like if you really want to act, not be famous, you got to break all this shit up. Not be on hanging on with Jay Leno and hanging on Jimmy Kimmel. If you just want to learn to act, you could do a play. But Joey, it don't pay. Nothing pays. Crime pays in the beginning, but that don't pay. That's not going to fucking pay you in the beginning. You're going to get $10 a week plus per diem. But the money doesn't matter if you really love acting. If you really love stand-up, like I love stand-up. I did. In the beginning, I didn't care about money. I didn't get into this to be fucking rich. I got into this to fucking do something with my life. And God forbid, I stuck with it and something happened. You know what the percentages of that are. You know, if you play percentages, what are they? What are they for me to really start in Boston, move to New York, develop, and then become a big fucking comedy star in LA? The percentages are against you. But if you got heart and balls, and if you do it correctly and work smart. I was a stupid motherfucker, but for some reason with comedy, I learned how to work smart. For years, I was just a Irakawa, you know, like some fucking crazy Indian. But it's when you start working smart and start planning your fucking moves that you see that growth immediately. Listen, with jiu-jitsu, I was going to jiu-jitsu for fucking 4 years in LA. I was getting beat up every fucking day. I still get beat up every day here. But the same thing happened with my jiu-jitsu lately. Since I don't have to do 10 podcasts a week, get on a plane on fucking Thursday, write comedy, do all this shit, I'm absorbing more jiu-jitsu.
Anyway, you get the gist. You get the gist. He enjoyed it. He had a great time. The only sad thing was at the end of this podcast, he did kind of say he's done with flying. Joey's always been a bit scared of flying anyways, with the fear of flying. But he says just in general, the fact that the flight prices overall have gone up crazy. The fact that, you know, it's just a whole nightmare getting on the plane in general. It kind of just made him think, you know what, I'm done with this shit. So he's basically, whatever time he was on prior in LA, he's definitely off of it. So I definitely agree. Yeah, exactly. Uche is right. Joey's life advice is definitely better than those hustle bros. 100%. I'll take Joey's DIAZ advice over any of those hustle, go for your dreams, no is a yes is a no type of gobbledygook any day of the week, mate. Those guys, he actually knows what he's speaking about for sure. So big up flipping, big up him regardless. What else we want to talk about here? Let's move to talk about, hey, big up, I started to tell, super chat.
He got access to things he didn't earn IE too fast. Like a Showtime comedy special.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And definitely that impacted. This is about Brendan, I'm assuming. Big up, a story to tell, appreciate you. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely his major thing. But I also don't think, I think again, it's too simplistic of an excuse. I still think most of the responsibility lays at his feet because he wasn't willing to kind of learn from his mistakes, you know, be accepting of criticism, not take stuff too personally. All that malarkey kind of really impacted him more so, personally. It's all well and good, you know, getting bumps up and stuff that can maybe maybe hamper you in the long run when it comes to getting things you don't deserve. But I don't think every person out there doesn't get stuff they deserve is gonna be ending up like flipping Brendan, in my opinion. I think it's just him deciding basically to do what he did there, in my opinion. But again, what do I know? What do I know? Let's move on to this quickly. I want to play for you. This is a clip taken from a sub. Let's see if I can find it. Bear with me a second here as I bring this up. This is a pretty funny clip, and I want to get some of you guys' opinion as to what you think about this. It's regarding an instance of bullying. So if you've maybe been bullied in the past and this is somewhat, hey, big up Illusionary Commission, appreciate you.
Plaza play 2 minutes. CRAC AMICO law is gay, no copyright.
What? Please play 2 minute CRAC AMICO is gay, no copyright. CRAC AMICO is gay. What do you mean? Oh, you mean to play a video called CRAC AMICO is gay? Cool, I'll play it at the end. No problem, I'll play it at the end. Play 2 minutes of CRAC AMICO is gay, no copyright. Okay, it's got no copyright. Okay, so yeah, about my stream. Risky. Are you sure it doesn't have any copyright? Are you sure I won't get flipping strike down? Because that's always fucking annoying. If that's true, then I'll definitely check it out. It's called what? LA is gay. Cool. LA is gay. Alright, I'll check it out. But this video, what do you guys think about this? Because I personally don't understand why more people just don't fuck up people. And again, like, I'm not a violent person at all, or aggressive in any type of shape or form. But if people are giggling and laughing at you on a train, which is what this video is suggesting, it says Italian girls being racist to my Asian boyfriend and his mum on a train to Milan, on a train in Milan, right? If this is actually true, why don't more people just stand up and beat the brakes off of people? If they're legitimately laughing and snickering at you and calling you names or just being pieces of shit, why don't you just get up and just punch them in the face or throw your luggage at their fucking face or something? Like, don't just sit there and take it. Let's play this video. Again, to be fair to the girls, because I always like to play the other side, there's probably more to the story. Maybe they got an... Maybe there's more to it. I don't know what it is. There's possibly more to the story because it just kind of starts in the middle. But essentially, you get this view of these two girls sat in the back of this train carriage, and they're giggling and laughing about something and looking over at whoever's recording them. And I'm guessing who's recording them is the alleged, Chinese boyfriend and Asian family, whatever it may be, or family overall. And they're just laughing at them, and they're meant to be Italian. You can hear them speaking Italian anyway if you listen closely. Stronza. Honestly, these girls look about like 17. If you're an adult and these little kids are laughing at you, just take your suitcase and just shove it in one of their faces. Break a couple of noses, give them a couple of scratches on their faces, and they'll all shut up pretty quickly. Why would you just sit there and take it? Especially if you're Asian. Especially if you're Asian, you probably got some nice luggage. You got a Rimowa, carry-on luggage. You got a nice away luggage. One of those nice, hard shell or aluminium luggages. Just take one of them, pick it up and just ram it in one of their faces repeatedly. FUD, FUD. What do you say about Asian people? FUD, FUD. What do you say about me in my country? FUD, FUD. And just ram it into their faces until they just start crying and screaming, right? In these kind of gargling sounds as the flipping blood curdles up in the middle of their throat and they can't get any breath and it's flipping shooting out of their nostrils, and the ticket inspector trying to pull you back off of them and saying, calma, calma, and you're just shoving that fucking Rimowa luggage into their face and just shoving it repeatedly and saying, this is for my ancestor, this is for my ancestor, this is for my ancestor, I want to be ninja. You're just throwing it into their fucking face. That's what you should be doing instead of sitting there and recording it for TikTok.
Oh, finito.
Like, honestly, this mum, sorry, but this mum, this old lady here, this old Asian lady here towards the end, where is she? See if I can find her. Bear with me a second here. Where can I find her?
Okay.
This Asian lady here has slapped some people in her life. She slapped some nieces, some nephews, some kids, some relatives, some family friends. This woman has put the 5 fingers of death across someone's face, buttocks, arm, back, chest, whatever. She slapped some fuckers. Come on, auntie. Get up and slap these little girls around the face. You know you want to. You've done it before day to day. You discipline your kids when they're not playing piano properly, or they're not getting some certain thing right in maths or science or whatever it may be. Come on, man. Don't just reserve those hands for your kids. Take those hands and slap other people's kids, especially Italian kids. They need to learn. You need to be slapping them up. I would never accept it. But hey, what do I know? Big up them also. Hopefully they, figure it out. But I don't know, man. I just don't understand why people are accepting or disrespecting public like that. And then filming TikTok videos. There was another one of this girl also in the stadium, and she was getting bullied by some girls behind her, and they were laughing at her. She was taking selfies and stuff. Just honestly, just get behind them and just like slip your arm underneath and just crank it in. That's what you gotta do. Just you're my girlfriend now. That's what you gotta do. Honestly, man, I can't believe this. Honestly, I really can't believe this. People are weird. Anyway, let's watch another one. Again, this just says, what's this one? This one's called, what's this video called? Racist school teacher outburst. I love these. I love these racismo videos, especially from teachers, because they clearly they get tested a lot by their students. So when they finally do snap, they always say the funniest of things. Let's see. Do they say nignog? Do they say nigger with a hard R? What do they say? Do they say go back to your country? Do they say you people? Does he say boy? I wonder what sort of racial slur he's going to pull from his flipping arsenal of racial slurs. Let's see. Let's see what this flipping guy is going to say here. I'm really, really eager to see here. Let's hear and see.
I bet you I don't get deactivated.
Okay, I've got to put on the screen first. Well, let's go.
I bet you I don't get deactivated. That's fine. You get away from me, though. You get away from me. I am away from you. I'm not getting anywhere near you. You come near me and it's a problem.
Look at him. You can see. you can see he's warming up to it. He wants to say something, but he's a bit scared. He's walking around, right? He's walking around trying to figure out what to say. Look at him. You can see he's pacing. Look, let's go back to the start again. He's thinking of what to say. Like,
I bet you I don't
black.
Get
Look at him. Look at him.
You get away from me, though.
I want to hear it.
You get away from me. I am away from you. I'm not getting anywhere near you. You come near me and it's a problem.
He's walking around. What to say? He looks at him.
You're just a goddamn nigger.
It had to be that. It had to be nigger. Nigger. With a hard R. It had to be nigger. Oh, shit. He had to do that. You're just a goddamn nigger. Let's go back again. Oh, one more time.
You're just a goddamn nigger. 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 You're just a god. You're just a goddamn nigger. You're just a goddamn. You're just a goddamn nigger. You're just a goddamn nigger.
You're just a goddamn nigger. You're just a goddamn nigga. You just a goddamn nigga. You just a goddamn nigga. Nigga.
Oh. Whoa. Oh. What did you just say? I'm getting out of here.
Whoa, yeah, you better get out of here about right now.
I said nigger, that's what he is.
Oh, look at the chest. Look at the posture. He's even got his nigger hat on. Look, he's got his nigger hat on. He's got his MAGA Louis Vuitton hat on. Right? He's got his nigger hoodie. He's got his nigger beads on. Right? Nigger white dad Air Force Ones. He's actually got a nigger outfit on. Weirdly enough. He's got a nigger outfit on, but he's calling us nigger. That's pretty hard, man. That's pretty hard. Let's go back to that one again. That was aggressive, that one. Look. Hands back. Look at that face.
That's what he is. Do you understand?
Huh? About right now.
Say that again. I said nigger.
Yeah.
Say that again. I said nigger. That's what. Say that again. I said nigger. That's what he is. Say that again. I said nigger. That's what. I said nigger. That's. I said nigger. That's what he.
Italians, Irish used same fountain that blacks did.
Yeah. We're all under the same banner, man. We're all come from the same place. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Big up Illusionary Commission, right? Right? Big up Martin Luther King, whatever that quote was.
Yeah, do you understand? And a nigger? No, I'm not. I'm a school teacher. It's not because he's black. His behavior What the is fuck are you talking about? niggerly. Do you understand? I'm nigger.
Niggerly. He thinks he's Dave Chappelle. This fucker thinks he's Dave Chappelle. Niggerly. He's acting niggerly. What?
Because he's black. His behavior What the is fuck are you talking about? niggerly. His behavior What the is fuck are you talking about? niggerly. Do you understand? Get the fuck out. You get the fuck out.
Again, going back to that Italian thing, why doesn't somebody just throw a brick at his head? Why is he still standing? niggly, you know. You're acting niggly. I fucking never used that. What is niggly? Is that like is that an adjective? Niggly. Oh shit. He's acting niggly. One of my favorite comedians is actually Dave Chappelle. How can I be racist? We're all niggers, actually. He started giving you one of those ones. We're all actually niggers. What's the problem here? Don't you see the MAGA Force Ones I'm wearing? I've got MAGA Force Ones. How can I be racist?
My glasses real quick.
What is that? Is that a Wu-Tang? I thought this is a Wu-Tang Clan flipping hoodie. It says USA in like Jamaican stars and stripes or some shit. It's hilarious. He's got the most niggly outfit on and he's calling other people niggly. Honestly. George, Greg, Darren, if you don't shut the fuck up, like honestly. Honestly, let's go back to that exchange though. I want to hear niggly again. One more time. Sorry. I want to hear that one more time.
Say that again. I said nigger, that's what he is. Do you understand? And a nigger? Racist. No, I'm not. I'm a school teacher. It's not because he's black. His behavior is
What the fuck are you talking about?
niggerly. Do you understand?
Get the fuck out.
Niggly. Have you ever heard that? Oh shit, my eyes. Niggly. Oh shit. It's not because he's black. It's not because I'm racist. It's because he's acting niggly. Okay, makes sense. Oh shit. I'm crying. I'm literally crying. Oh, my eyes. Niggly, you know. Niggly. Oh, mate. I want to see my eyes. Oh. It's who in the chat did find niggly. If you wanted to niggly me, you you niggly me, brother. Oh shit. Oh my eyes. Oh my eyes. My actual eyes, man. You guys are killing me. I swear to God. Oh my God, mate. That was fucking awesome. That's the best thing I've seen. Big Evolutionary Commission. Appreciate it.
Listen to DMX on his Spotify Sonos in his pool.
Oh, it's like... You think that guy listens to DMX? What a nigga want. Where my niggly's at. Oh, big up Evolutionary Commission. Appreciate you, brother. Oh, mate. Yeah, that was the end. That was the end. It just ended like that. That was the end. There was no resolution, no conclusion. It just like a good honey dick. It just ends the way it ends. You know what I mean? That guy bust way too quick, man. He should have took his time because I wanted to see more of that. I really did. But unfortunately, that was all we got. Oh, mate. I fucking love it. I honestly do love it. Oh, mate. Let's go this one. Let's go this. Let's check out Wings of Redemption. Let's see what Wings of Redemption is saying. I know some of you don't like the guy, but he makes me laugh. So let's check out Wings of Redemption. Let's see what he's saying. What's the deal with Wings? He's meant to be fighting Boogie soon, and Breaking Banquet, one of my favorite detector channels, put together this video about him. Let's check this out. No punches thrown, Jared Millerick. Nothing. That's where it ends. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. It just ends like that. He doesn't get hit over the head with a brick. He doesn't get pushed down the flight of stairs. He doesn't get pushed in front of moving traffic. They just let him go along his way. Weird. Weird. But anyway, let's play this video of Wings from Breaking Banquet and see what this guy is up to. My favorite character, Wings of Redemption.
I'm not gonna quit the fight, man. Like, why would I quit the fight? Yeah, imagine having to carry 200 pounds around every time you get up. I'm probably quitting COD here soon again. Dude, if you want me happy, I wish I had 400 viewers right now. I didn't throw no cat.
Mega fan. They ended up agreeing to the alleged behavior. They're like, yo, my guy, you actually got a point, man. I was acting kind of niggly. My bad for my niggly behavior. My bad. They spotted him up in it. They did the fucking the gang sign handshake. My bad, slap. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh fucking no, that's too good. Honestly, there's nothing more I love more than hearing fucking, you know, American people with their racial slurs, man. It comes with so much hate and vitriol buried in it. It's fucking impressive. Honestly, I love it so much. Yeah, skip the intro.
Fast, but like, I went on a diet and I lost 22 pounds. And at the time,
press X for doubt,
of surgery, like the day, like when I got on the plane, I was like 450. It's not really a lie. Yeah, like the 3 or 4 days before you have the surgery, you're not allowed to eat anything solid. You can have water, like Jello, chicken broth, bone broth, beef broth, things like that. But like, I was told to lose as much weight as humanly possible, but I had to pay extra money because I was heavier than they'd like me to be. So for the extra risk, they charge extra money. So I had to pay like, I want to say it was 1,000, but it might have been 500. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Christ,
I couldn't
dude.
stream today because I have people working on the roof. Welcome back, fat cat. Oh, but you gotta go down. No, I didn't get on the roof. I'm having my roof replaced. You like the fight trailer? Try not to give myself away with the laser. Like, license plates are a common thing. Like, everybody in the world can see them. Oh, damn. Like, I was already tired when they were showing me throwing that. I'd already done like the farmer's walk, and like I pulled Kelly on the kayak, and already done the punching bag, and then they had me do the mitts. There's a guy in front of you, Spaceman, 100% on the stairs. Yeah. You ain't gotta peek him. I haven't seen the whale. Yeah, so like I looked really slow in there, but like I was completely gassed. Like I
love the excuses, man. I love the external excuses. He's complaining and saying that he looks slow in the trailer because he was working out too hard the day before. Or they made him work out harder before they started actually filming. All right, Wings.
I was running on fumes when I was hitting the mitts in that trailer. Oh. What is the whale about? I know it's about a fat dude. That's like an English teacher, but I don't know what the plot is.
It's about you.
Oh. You ever seen $1 Million Baby Aspen of the Rings? That's a movie that always makes me cry. Guy on me. Pushing back to you. He stunned me so he knows I'm here. Remember, let him go.
Left side.
Marty, we got a full party right now, man. My favorite Ninja Turtle is Raphael. Like, there's not really too much bads going on right now. Dog, I'm not gonna quit the fight, man. Like, why would I quit the fight? I'm trying to make this fucking...
Because you're an eternal quitter. You quit everything in life. You quit the surgery. You quit life overall. You're a quitter.
Money, son. No, I've never been to a World's Strongest Man event. Yeah, the contract's signed. Like, medicals are done. We finished medicals today. We got hotel reservations. We got our flight plan coming tomorrow.
You like the trailer key made?
It was all right. I looked old as fuck. I literally just got back from Walmart.
Got back from Walmart. Too tired and gassed out. I love this guy.
Oh man, I'm having my roof replaced. Damn it! Ah, I missed him. Lead out there.
Gosh. I'll be the bait. I'll be the bait.
Just draw his fire and I'll get him. Me and Kelly went outside and threw a baseball. Tore me up, son. Guy in the middle.
Guy left side.
Think he's still in our spawn?
I think he's where I marked. Yeah, there. Don't know where he went.
Feeling for him. Didn't get a hit. Yeah, imagine having to carry 200 pounds around every time you get up. Weak ass wings. I'm built like a twig, mate. In the container, middle. It's Rich from Review Tech USA. Fucking Rich is a beast, son. God, I can't wait for him to beat fucking the quartering's ass. Hope he bloody.
Oh, yeah, you heard about that, right? Have you heard that the quartering and Rich, what's his name? Rich Review Tech USA. Allegedly, they're meant to be fighting soon, or maybe on the same card. I'm not sure how that's true. If that is true, I wouldn't imagine why the quartering would want to do something like that. But you know, he's maybe leaning into his kind of own locale status. But that's what they're saying. Review Tech USA and flipping, what's his name? The quartering in the ring together. The battle of the locales, the battle of the neckbeards.
Use his nose. That's gonna be a good boxing match.
Quartering's not gonna do that. I don't see it happening.
I think he's gonna back out too. Well, Quartering and Rich have beef. Like Quartering wants to talk bad about like Rich's kids.
Oh yeah, they do not. They do not like each other.
Dude, Tammy Slayton would die in a boxing ring. Let's be real here. People think me and Boogie gonna die. Tammy way worse than me. Semi-automatics, be ready. Pushing you. Ah.
Good try.
Yeah, he's on the corner of the museum art section. Lay down, Rocco. Oh, they sniped me. The problem with Cyrex versus Marty is there's too big of a weight disadvantage. Like, and I'm not trying to call anybody fat or anything, but there's a reason there's weight classes. Like Cyrex, a guy at Cyrex.
Okay, enough now. Shut the fuck up. We've heard enough from Wings at the moment, but yeah, looking forward to the fight. Actually, I'm not too sure who's gonna win. I still think it's gonna be an absolute shit show. They're way too, they're just way too unfit to do anything meaningful in the flipping ring. They're both probably gonna get gassed out from the nerves and the adrenaline alone. It's gonna legitimately make them tired, and it's just gonna be a shit show from the beginning to the end until it ends. Who knows when it will end? But nothing crazy is going to happen. No one's going to get injured. So it's not going to be any, it's not going to be scary in that respect. But for sure, it's going to be an absolute mad one overall when it does end up occurring. Yeah, man. I think, you know what? I think I might have covered everything here. I think that might be it. I don't think there's anything else I have to kind of check out. Oh, yeah, that's it. I meant to play that CRAC AMICO song, innit, right? What's his name? LA is gay or something, right? CRAC AMICO. CRAC AMICO, sorry about that. LA is gay. Let's see that. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did play this before, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I did play this before. So this should be a nice outro song to play. So thank you I think Illusionary Commission for recommending it. For those of you who are here, I appreciate you all as per usual. Please make sure, if you haven't already, to smash that like button for me. That'd be greatly appreciated. Links regarding everything else, if you want to listen to this as an audio podcast, is down below in the description. So you can click the links down below if you want to check that out. And also timestamps will be added on later today also. So if you want to check back and watch this after the fact with timestamps, then please make sure that you do that also. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. But that's about it for now, innit? Until next time, I'm gonna what's up saying? We finished talking about Papa. Yeah, for now, Severe Design. I need to go through I'm gonna go through the recent Fire and the Kids episode and try and see if I can pull any clips from it that are any decent and try and do my bit in that regard, because no one really on the Fire and the Kids subreddit is watching the show, I feel like, anymore, so I can't be stealing clips from them anymore. So I'm gonna actually go through it myself and not put you guys through it, because I think when we watch it together, I feel like everybody dies inside. So I'm gonna pull the clips that I feel like are funny and whatnot and try and have those prepared and do those, and then we can kind of talk about them on the pod, on the stream, so when we do end up doing it. So bear in mind and wait about for that, and that'll be happening very soon. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Been a pleasure, never a chore, as per usual. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate every single one of you for hanging in there with me. It's been absolutely great. It's been absolutely amazing. I've loved every flipping minute of it, mate. I'm not going to lie. It's been fucking cool. So yeah, big up everybody tuning in, and we're gonna end the show with a CRAC AMICO. LA is gay. Actually, yeah, let's do him. Let's do CRAC AMICO. We're not gonna do anything else, are we? Here, I don't think there's anything else we want to check out. I don't think Chin's uploaded anything, has he? Chin-Su, has he done anything? Has Chin Boy done anything? Eh? The guy in the back with the papers, has he done anything? No, Chin's not done anything yet, so we'll come back another time and hear him flipping, crying, singing. But for now, we're going to end the show with a little bit of CRAC AMICO. So let's go with that. Let's go with that. Okay, it's CRAC AMICO, LA's Gate. Playing now.
Crack. Gay, 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 gay. West Coast, gay. East Coast, flame. I feel like y'all don't believe me, so let's read some motherfucking names. Boy, we got CK in it, bitch. Big J in it, bitch. Louis J in it, bitch. Lot of Daves in this bitch. We got Shane in it, bitch. Danny Souls in this bitch. Mark Norm in this bitch. Jim Norton in this bitch. Plenty more in this bitch.
And y'all got Whitney Cummings.
LA is so fucking gay. They all woke. Better watch what the fuck you say. And yo jokes. East Coast, we don't fucking play. We won't smoke. LA, y'all so fucking gay. So fuck LA. And that song God. Fuck your best comedian. His name is Brandon Schwab. We'll fuck him in his face. And we don't care. Why the fuck does Bill Burr even live there? LA so motherfucking gay.
I don't know, B.
What you really trying to do? I better watch how I say this baboon fucking name, cause I probably end up getting sued. This shit got me in the mood. You supposed to take a joke at your motherfucking age. You tape a special and bomb out the stage worse than Travis bomb your fucking face. I gotta say, you're basically Aaron Hernandez. Just look up the stats and y'all one in the same. Both in the closet, you cheat on your women and chronic traumatically damage your brain. Bet if y'all stuck to the sports, you'd be fine. Could've laid in the back of the cut and just chilled. Only real difference between you and Aaron, what he did was funny and you've never killed. Back in high school, what Letterman? Now you wanna get on David Letterman. The shit's so sad, man, the joke's so bad that he couldn't even get on top of Letterman. Knocked on the door, but she ain't never let him in. Had to tell his woman he was gonna be a better man. On the television, he be lying like the weatherman. Taking down the videos and flushing all the evidence. Crying like a bitch, man, this shit is sickening. You won't even stand up for your brothers when they innocent. Enough about him, I'll give you back to your owners. I promise these cats ain't gonna stop till you're homeless. And that's just one of y'all comics in the land of the fake toxic. I'ma keep the rest of y'all in my back pocket. You better act like Kobe in a cockpit, just drop it. LA is so fucking gay. They all woke. Better watch what the fuck you say. And no jokes. East Coast, we don't fucking play. We want smoke. LA, y'all so fucking gay. So fuck LA. And that song guy. Fuck your best comedian. His name is Brenton Schwab. He'll act like he don't, but he do care. Can't believe the rattlesnake almost moved there. LA so motherfucking gay.
To be fair, even though some people are saying the bars are trash, he's still 10 times better than Little Brows. I know that's not a high bar. It's probably the bars on the floor there, but he is 100 times better than fucking Little Brows. So big up CRAC AMICO. I like that. It was good. I enjoyed it. Anyway, big up everybody. Take care. Appreciate you all. It's been a pleasure, not a chore. See you again very soon. Peace out. Take care, my friends. Bye.